Tell you what, Crossy, hey, that's what you're basically saying, Crossy.
To be fair, in fairness to you, Connor, there was another player who was brilliant that day. It was Raul Jimenez.
No, listen, I completely agree with Pat and Clint. He's one of a kind of Adama. I think the way he plays the game, the way he can get you up the pitch. But I do believe Wolves can hurt them today. No one expects anything from Wolves today, and sometimes that's the best way you can go into a game. And listen, Wolves have Aït-Nouri, Wolves have Cunha, and Aït-Nouri in a 5 is a different player. He's a different player. He can go forward. He goes forward a little bit more freedom. Now, listen, they haven't got a player like Adama, but they have got ways to hurt Manchester City. It will be tough. Of course, it will be tough because they're the best team in the world. But no, they've not got an Adama, and it would be nice to have him at this point.
Crossy, I'm not just saying this because he's on here and I do like him.
Here we go.
No, I'm not just saying this, but the Wolves do miss a player like Conor Cody. I'm being honest because it's going out of the game. I've watched a lot of Wolves games. There's not enough talking. He's the one person that you can hear. I say it with Jordan Henderson as well. When it was during COVID and stuff and there was no fans in, you could always hear Jordan Henderson. It's just a dying breed at the moment with players that talk on the pitch. Conor Cody would organise that defence, get them up. So I'm not just saying it because he's on here, but Wolves do miss a player like that.
You could have said they miss a player like Max Kilman because he was playing for them last season, but I'm sure.
But Kilman was good because he was with Conor Cody. You do the maths.
I tell you what, Clint, I made up you coming on here because it's been all about Patrick Bamford this show today.
So much for Strikers Union.
Thank you, yeah, but Pat, you do your stuff, Pat. You do your stuff. I don't need to big you up. I bigged you up earlier.
Go on, Rob.
To be fair, Clint's got a point in the organisational sense, and Inter Milan has given everybody the blueprint because they don't have an Adama Traoré. They have energy, but they don't have the real raw pace of anybody there. But when they went forward with commitment in twos, maybe 3, and that was it. But they stuck to their guns. They worked so hard, and they got a point, and they were thrilled with that point. It's a big improvement for Inter Milan. I think Wolves need a big improvement today, but what they need is that commitment and that energy to get forward.
There has been another goal in the WSL at Manchester City. Maz.
She nearly made another one, but Lauren Hemp scored one, made the second for Manchester City, skipping past Jordan Nobbs down the left into the area, the cutback finding Jill Rudd, unmarked, 8 yards out, simple finish. Once more, City have turned it around and they're moving back to the top of the WSL table at the moment. City 2, Aston Villa 1, 74 minutes played.
And how about this at Rugby Park? Kenny Crawford.
A massive moment on 87 minutes. Steve Vickers Kilmarnock lead Rangers by 1-0. Welsh forward Marley Watkins, formerly of clubs like Barnsley and Bristol City, has looked in after 87 minutes. Unbelievable. The ball just kind of looped over the defence. It was pinball in midfield. Marley Watkins got on the end of it. He just kind of clipped it over into the side of Jack Butland, who was helpless, and he watched it trundle in. And Kilmarnock have a precious lead here. Rangers wanted all 3. They might be leaving with none. Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0.
Yeah, so they are already 6 points behind Aberdeen and Celtic at the top of the league, who drew 2-2 yesterday. So, wow, I mean, that is a huge score, and it would take Kilmarnock up onto 9 points and into 7th place. They jump up 4 places in the Scottish Premiership. That said, it's not over yet, as Kenny was saying, 2 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Let's focus back in on Manchester City. Let's talk about the midfield battle in this game at Molineux. Rob, I'm fascinated to ask you particularly about Mateo Kovacic, because, of course, you were with him at Chelsea. Do you think he is now, can we look at him and say, OK, he is the person who has got that Rodri replacement tag?
Well, it's a big shoes to fill, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he has the intelligence, and he hasn't had that role before so much because his skills are different. Now, he scored a couple of goals against Fulham, and one of them was slightly fortunate. Well, I think the second goal where he's arrived really well, the timing's really good. But I think what will please Pep more is just before that, he steps across in a ball coming into the front man, and steps across, cuts it out and plays it forward perfectly, and they're away. And that is the bit that I think they're saying, well, can he do that? Can he read that part of the game? He's got other wonderful attributes in pushing the ball forward, manages to push the ball forward past players without having an amazing amount of pace, without having the Adama Traoré fear factor, but just knows where the space is. It's adding that other side. He's also got this really weird dead ball strike, and he hits a strike so it's not hard, but it's just dead. Matthew Hoggard used to bowl at cricket, and everyone would say he hit the wicketkeeper's hands really hard.
Yeah.
And there's a few players with it who I can remember that would hit the ball, and you're thinking, wow, that really hurt. It wasn't travelling fast. It's just travelling dead. Now, he hasn't scored a lot of goals in his career. 3 in 7 this season is by far and away the best. I think that might be something he can add as well.
Connor, he's had a really interesting career as well, because when he was at Real Madrid, I think he was considered like a little bit more, not like a proper attacking midfielder, but certainly slightly more offensive than he's ended up becoming as a Chelsea and now Manchester City player.
Yeah, it's as if he's always been a little bit in the middle, isn't it? Doing a little bit of both, a little bit like an old-fashioned midfielder, a little bit box to box, and he was never, because now we speak about midfielders, don't we talk about a number 6 who sits in front of the back line like a Rodri, or we speak of a number 8 who's more advanced than a number 6, and then sort of thing. He was always in between, but I completely agree with Greeny there, and the word I loved that he used was intelligence, and I think to fill Rodri's boots, you have to be an intelligent footballer, and obviously Pep signed a lot of intelligent footballers, and Kovacic is certainly that, because the way he's kind of stepped into his role, no one can fill Rodri's boots, but to see the way he's jumped into them boots and playing the way he is, I think it's been brilliant for Manchester City.
Clinton?
What about Kovacic?
Yeah, well, I thought so. I mean, by all means, take it whichever direction you want.
Nah, I echo what Greeny and Connor said. He's a top player. I like Kovacic. Listen, they are going to miss Rodri. Rodri, for me, was probably the best number 6 in world football. But Kovacic is a fantastic footballer. He might not get around the pitch as much as what Rodri does, but he's a clever footballer. And Greeny's right. He does score spectacular goals. So I have to agree with the two lads. Thanks for coming, Crossy.
You coming on Kovacic? On Kovacic, please, Patrick, just to make it clear to everybody.
No, I was saying similar to what Connor said, really, that he's not exactly in the same mould as Rodri. I'd say he's probably slightly more of an advanced midfielder than a number 6, but he can do that role, and obviously the intelligence will help him. And I think he's a cracking player.
Is this the normal playlist at Molineux? Connor, has this changed over the years?
It's taken us off sync a little bit, isn't it? The music in the background. No, I've never heard that at Molineux, to be honest with you.
I tell you, Steve, what it reminds me of, there's a Simpsons episode where Homer Simpson gets in a fight against the Tatum guy, who's basically Mike Tyson. And it comes out to why can't we be friends? And I think that's a little bit like it for Wolves. It's like, come on, let's all get on. Let's be friends.
I'll say something at Leicester. We've said at the start of the season we want the playlist before the games to be a little bit lively. I hope Wolves are listening to this, and I hope they go back in and go, I need you to help us here, because this isn't what we need to warm up to.
Do you even know who it is out of interest, Connor? Because Connor McNamara, sorry. Don't worry, Connor Cody. I wasn't sure you
That's Elvis, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
Elvis, the wonder if you... Come on, Steve. Come on. You and your
you don't sound confident.
Stats in the Premier League. Come on. Get a bit of world knowledge, kid. Come on. Come on. Get the head out of the football books. Come on.
I was worried that was going to be condescending until you said kid. Go on, Rob.
No, well, Connor, you weren't here for the anagrams earlier because Steve brought nothing, and so far,
dreadful. I do want to ask about one other midfielder. We're talking about midfield battle here, Clinton. I've got to say, he's not necessarily the first name that people mention if you do a Wolves chat, but I do love watching Mario Lemina.
No, but he's a good player. He's the captain this season. I like all their midfield. I think Andre and João Gomez, they brought in Andre this season. He sits there and he allows Lemina and João Gomez to get forward. I think Lemina's a top player. I think he gets box to box. He can get you goals. He leads by example. I think he's a good that midfield. I think today that's where it can be won and lost. I look at their midfield three. I look at Man City. Obviously, Man City's midfield three are fantastic. Those midfield three, those three are going to have to work ever so hard. But yeah, I like Lemina as a footballer.
I completely agree with Clinton. I think they complement each other really well, the midfield three for Wolves. I really do. I think the way they play, I think Lemina's, the box-to-box midfielder, how he plays, I think the other two look after the ball really well. I think João Gomez is fantastic. I really do. I think the sort of midfielder he is, I think he's brilliant. What will be interesting today is how disciplined he can be. I think being disciplined in there and staying in shape. I'm not necessarily always going chasing the ball, because it's going to be hard, because that's when Man City turn into their own and they start popping you. So how disciplined he can be in there, but I completely agree with Clinton. I think the midfield three is fantastic for Wolves.
I think having a back three in there is going to be important for Wolves, not just in the defensive sense, but also set pieces, because it'll take Lemina out of the 6-yard box. Because that penalty he gave away the other week against Brentford was just a joke, where he just pulled it down his opponent. And if you do anything against Manchester City, do not give them opportunities like that. So they've got to get it right defensively. They've got to get it right in set pieces. And if you've got key men out of the way like that, then I think they've given themselves more of a chance.
Yes, the other thing, Pat, about moving to that back three or back five, depending on how you phrase it, is those three central midfielders, Andre, Joao Gomez and Mario Lemina. They've got an absolutely huge task, but there's also one more of them.
So one more what?
Than there would be if they were playing a four.
Oh, sorry, yeah, okay. Yeah, they do, because you threw me off there massively. The three midfielders, obviously, they're going to have a lot of distance to cover with the way that Man City are going to control the ball. It's more about closing the spaces down, I guess, so that Man City can't exploit it.
Yeah, and I think for me also, in terms of the way John Stones will play, John Stones or Rico Lewis will go into midfield. I don't know whether John Stones will play at the back and Lewis will go in midfield. So they'll have four in midfield there, Manchester City playing with the box. So it'll be so interesting. I'll go back to the word I used before in terms of being disciplined. They're going to have to be disciplined. I think the minute they go jumping, they go chasing, I think Manchester City will come into their own. They'll just start popping them off.
We were going to, Rob, have a bit of a chat about Sam Johnston as well and his form and the difficulties, but Jose Sarr's gone back in today.
Yes, and I think it's a difficult one that you turn around and say it's a really difficult start. When with Jose Sarr, you're saying, well, hold on a minute, he's been good enough for so many years, and then you're deciding he's not good enough, and then the other guy comes in and he doesn't pull up trees, and all of a sudden he's saying, well, it wasn't the goalkeeper after all. So he doesn't send a great message to either goalkeeper now. That Gary O'Neill's in a really difficult position, that he's going to have to manage that so well. It's going to take a lot of communication, a lot of arms around shoulders, because you're getting beat as a goalkeeper. Nobody likes that. You're down the bottom. Nobody likes that. To get pulled out the team when you don't think it's your fault is something that's really harsh. And then to throw into the mix the confusion from there is going to be a tough situation for both of them.
Yeah, I completely agree with Greeny. The one thing you need in a team sometimes is your keeper to be set. This is your keeper going forward, and this is being a goalkeeper is one of the biggest positions you can have in the game. It's one of the biggest positions you can have in your team, and having your goalkeeper set is massively important. And they've got two fantastic keepers. I played with Jose Sarr, and Jose Sarr is a brilliant keeper. So him coming out the team for Sam Johnston at the start of the year would have been really, really tough on him. So to see him back in today and that little bit of a chop and change is a little bit strange, but they do need that consistency with the goalkeeper. I definitely think that.
Full-time whistle has gone at Kilmarnock. Kenny Crawford.
And it finishes Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0. A wonderful win for the hosts and a massive missed opportunity for Rangers, who stay 6 points behind both Celtic and Aberdeen and continue their unconvincing start to the season. Credit goes to Kilmarnock, who pounced in the 87th minute. Marley Watkins getting on the end of David Watson's lofted pass over the defence to poke it beyond Jack Butlin for his 4th of the season. Kelly up to 7th. Rangers had earlier hit the bar through Cyril Dessers, but in all truth toiled and laboured in the wind for much of the game. Not the way manager Philippe Clement wanted to celebrate 1 year at the club. Full-time Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0.
Big result. Right, players lining up as we speak ahead of Wolves versus Manchester City at Molineux. Remember, 4:30, full commentary of Liverpool versus Chelsea. We'll be keeping you up to date with everything that's happening in the WSL and the Women's T20 World Cup final, the Gallagher Premiership later today as well. Rob, thank you very much. Connor, thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, Crossy.
Cheers, Steve.
Patrick, I hope you enjoyed your debut.
Yeah, loved it. Thank you.
Excellent. And we believe in verbal contracts at 5 Live, so will you come back again?
I'd love to.
That's what we like to hear.
Crossy, ask me. Don't worry, let's talk to the bosses, because that was a good 4 today. We need to be on more regular.
How do you know? You weren't even listening.
No, but I'm including myself in the 4, not you.
Oh, sorry, yeah. You're now a package deal. Love it. All right, Connor, all yours.
When Clinton hears the word contract, his ears prick up immediately. I'll have a bit of that.
Yeah, Connor knows me too well.
Right, Molineux is ready. The place is rocking. Even the sun is making its best effort to shine through. There's a sprinkle of blue in what had been very grey, cloudy skies earlier on. Manchester City are out in their dark burgundy red outfits. Wolves in their old gold. Wolves who beat Manchester City here in this game last season. Could Gary O'Neill's team possibly upset the champions again? Extra significance, Clinton, on this one because of that Arsenal defeat yesterday. Yes, there's a hell of a long way to go, but City win here, they go 3 points clear of Arsenal, having played the same number of games. And Arsenal play Liverpool without Saliba next weekend.
Exactly, and that's a huge blow because the partnership with him and Gabriel has been outstanding. But yeah, City have to take care of business before the international break. Fulham could have beat City. I know Wolves, we were just talking about Adama Traore, but Wolves have to find a way to exploit that when City are attacking. But it's a massive football match for Man City to go 3 points clear this early in the season. I know it's early, but it's a confidence booster in my eyes.
Right, listen, on the go with the BBC Sounds app this afternoon. We've got our commentary here at Molineux. We've got a big game to come later on as well. Liverpool against Chelsea at 4:30. You can follow all the action this afternoon here on 5 Live. There's a whole multitude of little mascots and big dressed up mascots in outfits, and I presume sponsors are leaving the field. There was more extras than players on the surface in the build up to the game, but they now depart, and we can get ready for this 2 o'clock start this Premier League Sunday on 5 Live. 3 changes for each team from their last lineups before the international break. For Wolves, there's the introduction of Jose Sa, his first appearance in over a month. Sam Johnston has played recent games, but Johnston has an abductor problem that he picked up in training. A 3-man central defence system today with Santiago Bueno coming into the team to join Craig Dawson and Totti Gomez. That'll allow Nelson Semedo and Ryan Out-Nouri to advance on the flanks. Andre, the Brazilian, has looked good, one of Wolves' better players this season. He's in the holding role in the midfield with the captain Mario Lemina and João Gomez, with Matheus Cunha coming back into the team today to support Jørgen Strand Larsen in attack. This is a designated no room for racism weekend of the Premier League. The players have taken a knee ahead of kickoff, and we're about to get underway. There's the whistle from the referee, Chris Kavanagh. The City team, Edison in goal. Rico Lewis, John Stones, Ruben Diaz and Josko Guardiol are the back four for the champions. Mateo Kovacic alongside Bernardo Silva in the midfield. Ilkay Gundogan will push on. Savinho and Doku on the wings. And Erling Haaland, who's got 8 goals against Wolves over the past 2 seasons, leads the attack. Nelson Semedo here tries to come on the first attack of the game, but he puts the ball out of play, and the throw-in is taken quickly by Guardiol for Manchester City. And how Wolves would love a bright start to this match here.
Yeah, they have to stay in the game, Wolves. They know it's going to be difficult. I do think they are better in the back 5. Well, the 3 with the 2 wing-backs, because I think Semedo and Out-Nouri are crucial to Wolves going forward. They're very good wing-backs that like to get forward. But, yeah, they have to quieten Man City and stay in the game for as long as possible and get this crowd behind them, Connor.
By this stage in their last game, Wolves were already a goal down against Brentford. Feels key that they keep Manchester City at bay for as long as possible here. City playing from left to right as we look down. Rico Lewis taking a throw back to John Stones. 5th Premier League game of the new season for him. It's only John Stones' 2nd start in the top flight this campaign, as Guardiol brings it up to the halfway line and rolls it infield to Ruben Diaz. Diaz, who scored an own goal against Wolves here last season, that game that Manchester City lost by 2-1. Stones with the white boots. Short pass back to Ruben Diaz, who played for Portugal in Glasgow on Tuesday night. Draw against Scotland in the Nations League. And Wolves sitting deep here. There's no big high press on City as they wait for City to come and attack at them. And eventually, João Gomez picks up a stray pass in the midfield. Wolves get it back. Dawson on the edge of the penalty area. Haaland pressures him. Savinho now pressures Totti Gomez. And Savinho manages to win the ball off Wolves. And this is going to be the problem for Wolves. I have to wonder is today, how do you play through this Manchester City machine?
Yeah, it's difficult because Man City press. But then, Connor, if you go back to front, Strand Larsen has to hold the ball up, and that's why you've got a big target man. So sometimes you have to miss out Man City's press and go into the big man up front.
It's been a tough start to the season for Wolves. They've only had 1 win since the March international break of the Premier League. But in their credit and in their defence, Wolves have had very tricky games this season. They've played all the top 5. The lowest team they played against was Brentford last time out, who were 11th at the time. But, you know, they played basically all the elite teams. City today, Arsenal, Villa, Chelsea, Liverpool. And I know all games are difficult and all the rest of it, but that's a particularly tough run they've had.
Very tough. And then they're going to have the fixtures after this one and the Brighton away. Then they'll have fixtures where you're thinking that's where they need to get results. Teams that are going to be in and amongst them. So if they can get something today, it'd be a huge boost.
City have it with John Stones inside Wolves territory. Plays it short to Savinho. Up against Out-Nouri. He's grease lightning. Savinho goes past the wing back, sends in a low cross. Totti Gomez came out and challenged him right on the edge of the penalty area. The cross came in, but it was low and it was tame, and it was easily gathered by Jose Sa.
It's the first time I've seen Savinho. I've seen a lot of him, obviously, live. I mean, I've seen a lot when you're watching on TV, but to be here and witness him live, wow, he is quick, Connor, and he's really exciting. And he must be doing well if he's keeping Phil Foden and Jack Grealish out of the team at the moment.
He is what the computer gamers would call a regen of Riyad Mahrez. He's even got the number 26 shirt. He looks just like him. Here is Doku into the penalty area. First touch for Haaland of the game. Takes it in a wide arc, back outside the penalty area. Rolls the ball to Josko Guardiola. There's a few boos for Haaland there from the Wolves fans. They've got long memories of what he's done against them in the past. He's averaged a goal every 40 minutes, Haaland, in games against Wolves in his career so far. He got 4 goals in one game against them. As City win the first corner of the game, Savinho's trickery getting this corner down the right-hand side. There's been an alteration in the officials' lineup. Richard West was supposed to be the assistant. He's hurt himself in the warm-up, so he's become 4th official, and Tom Bramall is now running the line.
I get it now, I get it. I thought that you said, no, well, I'll tell you after this corner.
Savinho to take, short run-up, plays it towards the back post. Dawson missed the header, came down for Guardiola, he couldn't get a shot away. And Totti Gomez is able to clear it for Wolves back to the halfway line of Rico Lewis.
Yeah, so do you mean the assistant, so the linesman picked up an injury, that's what you meant, and now he's all right. I thought you meant the 4th official. I was like, how has he picked up an injury standing on the side having a cup of tea?
You could hurt your jaw or something.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Here's Gundogan in the middle of the midfield. This is 5 live for the BBC. 0-0 at Molineux. Wolves against Manchester City. Rico Lewis, 25th Premier League start of his career. He's become only the second teenager to start 25 Premier League games for Manchester City, joining Michael Richards in the past. John Stones here, 10 yards outside the Wolves penalty area. And Wolves' tactic today is to sit and to try and contain. As Gundogan, quick feet around the edge of the tee, can't get away from Joe Gomez. Wolves try to play it out, but Joe Gomez is the ball stolen off him by Kovacic. And then Savinho tries to nip in, helped out by Bernardo Silva. He goes down to the edge of the penalty area. Referee waves play on. Loose ball has fallen to Guardiola. Now into the box. Doku, right foot across, comes in low. Lamina's well located. And Wolves just about clear it away. This could be a long afternoon for Wolves if they're going to continue to sit this deep.
Yeah, it could be, but it's difficult because if you go and press, Man City is so good enough. So they've been working on this definitely at training.
Recent Manchester City against Arsenal game at the Etihad when Trossard was sent off, and then entire second half City just wave after wave attacked Arsenal sitting deep. Doku here takes his shot from the edge of the penalty area, which was bouncing in front of him, and he sends it well over the crossbar. But City, we know they will be patient, they will wait for an error, and when you're put under that pressure, it's very difficult not to make a mistake.
Yeah, you're right, and it was good play from Doku. He was running at so much pace. Great little backheel from Gundogan, but he's still running at 100 miles an hour. He's always stretching, it's high and wide. But yeah, Wolves know they're not going to have a lot of the ball though, Connor. Just have to be nice and compact and try and get up the pitch as well. That's where you need Cunha and Larson to get hold of the ball for you.
So Jose Sa is going to take the goal kick wearing all green for Wolves. The Wolves have conceded 21 Premier League goals already this season. And that is a lot. Here is Andre, the number 7, the Brazilian international. Gives it back to Totti Gomez. Plays a bit of poker with Savinho, but wins. Dawson to his right-hand side to Santiago Bueno, the Uruguayan. That's a good ball in front of Nelson Semedo. Chance for Wolves to break forward now. Matheus Cunha's made a run. Has played it towards him. Strand Larsen scores for Wolves. There's no offside flag. Wolverhampton Wanderers' first attack of the game. We've not played 7 minutes yet. It's Wolves 1, Manchester City 0. Wow, who saw that coming?
It's a brilliant goal though, Connor. They beat Man City's press, and that's what you got to do. You got to trust what Gary O'Neill's trying to do. It's great little 1 and 2 touch. Bueno does ever so well. The centre half. He steps in, plays a great ball to Nelson Semedo, and the ball in from Semedo is fantastic. And Strand Larsen, you were thinking it's just bobbling in front of him, and it just sped up, but he controls it with his left foot and into that bottom corner. It's a fantastic goal from Wolves.
Well, it was always likely that a Norwegian number 9 would focus prominently today. It's not you-know-who, it's the other Norwegian number 9, it's Jørgen Strand Larsen. And Wolves have clearly studied how Fulham got in behind the Manchester City defence last time, and Pep Guardiola's not been able to solve that problem. What about this for an atmosphere now? I mean, it was loud before kickoff, Clinton. Molineux is rocking.
I've been to a lot of Wolves games this season and covered a lot, and it's never been like this. So that's what I say. As players, you have to get these crowds going because Wolves they've got good fans. But yeah, it's a great atmosphere.
Right, here we go then. So with Arsenal beaten yesterday, is this going to be one of those crazy weekends in the Premier League? Manchester City trailing away at Wolves. It's going to be absolutely intriguing to see what happens next. 5 Live for the BBC. Wolves 1, City 0. The goal from Jørgen Strand Larsen. He's third in the Premier League. Here is Ruben Dias for Manchester City, who had dominated possession, dominated territory. Wolves, with their first proper attack of the game, have found the back of the net. Savinho right-hand side, good ball into Gundogan. What a touch! Bernardo Silva! What a save! José Sá, to deny his Portuguese compatriot, has pulled off one of the best saves I've seen this season. How he got across, that was heading right into the corner, and he's pushed it for the corner, which City have taken already. Doku tries to play it into the penalty area. Nelson Semedo makes the block.
What a save from Sá. He hasn't played. Sam Johnson, they brought him in, and he hasn't been playing. I'm sorry, but to come in from the cold like that and make a save from Bernardo Silva, it's a fantastic save.
Super shot for Bernardo Silva. He wouldn't have wanted to hit that any more into the corner. Loads of power on it, but a wonderful extension of his body from José Sá, full stretch with a stiff arm, and he pushed the ball away. Wonderful save, and what an important time, because I think if City had bounced back immediately, that would have really deflated Wolves. But as it is, they remain completely buoyant here as Lamina plays it over the top. They're in again. João Gomez down the right-hand side. City scurrying back. Gomez pulls it for Ait-Nouri on the edge of the box. Savinho attacked him really well. Ait-Nouri, who'd wandered infield from left wing back, but Savinho didn't ignore him, and City will try and break now, but Doku is challenged by Andre, and the loose ball falls to Rico Lewis, and it's all 100 miles an hour at the moment. Wolves 1, Manchester City 0 on 5 Live.
It's what we love, Connor. That's why we love this game. It's been end-to-end. It's a brilliant game. Andre makes a good tackle there on Doku as he breaks through, and as we highlighted him before, he's an important player for Wolves in that midfield.
Rico Lewis from the centre of the park for City. Gary O'Neill is really animated down there. He's pointing his fingers. He wants this organisational system. Wolves have got something to hold on to now as we can get to news of how Manchester City's women's team have got on today against Aston Villa. Here's Maz Farouki.
Not as dramatic as last week, but once more City coming from behind to move back top of the WSL, trailing at half-time to a Gabby Nunes goal. It was a Lauren Hebb masterclass in the second half, scoring one, setting up Jill Rudd for the winner. Villa still without a league win this season. They were last on a worse run in the league at the beginning of 2021. Full-time Manchester City 2, Aston Villa 1.
Thanks very much, Maz. Liverpool are playing Crystal Palace today in the WSL. Like this Premier League game at Molineux, it was also a 2 o'clock kickoff, and Sani Rajavajala has the latest from Langtree Park.
Yeah, 11 minutes gone, goalless here so far. Crystal Palace, a newly promoted side, though, are holding their own so far. Liverpool with an early penalty shout that was never going to be given. 11 minutes gone, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Thanks very much. A break in play here. Wolverhampton Wanderers player, I think it's Craig Dawson, is receiving treatment after a collision with Erling Haaland. But just a moment to take stock of what's actually, sorry, it's not Dawson, is it? It's Bueno down there. Not sure, it's one of the Wolves players, so he's got his, we can't see the back of the shirt, and he's got the physios around him.
It's Larsen. He just went down. I think he's stretching his hamstring, to be fair, but I don't know if it's tactical, because we see a lot of players do that when you're under pressure at the moment, but he was stretching his hamstring, so hopefully he'll be all right, because after you scored, you don't want to be coming off.
Jørgen Strand Larsen on loan from Celta Vigo. Third goal now for Wolves. The 2 before today came in high-scoring defeats. He scored when Wolves were beaten 6-2 by Chelsea here in August. He scored against Brentford last time out, a game that Wolves lost by 5-3. But that is a wonderful counter-attacking goal, and it is a template at how Wolves can cause problems against their illustrious opponents as this afternoon progresses. 1-0 they lead for now. While we wait for play to get back underway, a reminder, Monday Night Club tomorrow. Plenty live football coming up on 5 Live over the coming days. On Tuesday, it's the return of the Champions League. We'll feature Arsenal against Shakhtar Donetsk. We've got Champions League commentary on Wednesday as well. Manchester United in the Europa League on Thursday. Fenerbahce against Manchester United is our pick of the games then. But plenty live football coming up, including Liverpool against Chelsea later on today, which you can listen to here on this network. The ball is back in play at Molineux. Nelson Semedo rolls it back to José Sá. His right-footed ball is up over the halfway line. Half an hour ago, it was all cloud in the sky, but now the sun is blazing down onto the pitch and right into the eyes of Edison, the Manchester City goalkeeper, wearing white, away to our left-hand side. City come up to the halfway line. Pep Guardiola, hands in the pockets, trying to look casual down there, but he can't be happy with how this game has started. Kovacic, short to his Croatian international colleague, Guardiola. Now to Jeremy Doku. Lime green boots on the left-hand side for Manchester City. Guardiola tried to play it into Rico Lewis, well intercepted again by Andre, whose possession-winning stats have been very good this season. Then Savinho goes down to the edge of the box, and City are going to get a free kick, and there's going to be a yellow card shown to Totti Gomez. But the challenge on Savinho had a free kick to City just outside the penalty area.
Yeah, he's got to be better on the ball, Totti Gomez. A few times where if Wolves are going to try and play out from the back, his touch has to be assured. He just miscontrols it there, and Savinho's onto him. And I think he has to make that because he's in on goal. It's a dangerous position here, though, from Man City.
The ball came to Totti Gomez. He kind of stumbled as he tried to control it, a miscontrol. And then Savinho was nipping in, and he almost rugby tackled him down. And it was just on the edge of the penalty area. This is a nice angle for the left foot of Savinho, maybe. There's a whole group of them standing over it, and we'll just wait for this free kick at Molineux, and then we'll go for news of a goal at Liverpool in the WSL. But Manchester City, a goal down here, having seen Arsenal lose yesterday. Can they get back on level terms? There's a huddle of players going to the discussion. The referee is making sure that Wolves' wall is the required 10 yards back. 5 live for the BBC. Wolves leading Manchester City by 1-0. We've reached the quarter of an hour mark at Molineux. And Jose Sa, who's already made one excellent save to deny Bernardo Silva. This is the most threatening position that he has faced since then. It's a 5-man wall erected. There's also a draft excluder. Manchester City are putting another 2 just in front of them to try and deceive the sight lines of the goalkeeper. Here comes Savinho, left-footed, played it in low. It's blocked. Doku is following up. His shot is blocked by Bueno. Bernardo Silva tries. Bueno blocks again. And Wolves survive in the big roar from the Molineux crowd. So back to Langtree Park and back to Sani.
Yeah, from St Helens, it says Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1, and it's Katie Stengel against their old club with her first ever goal for Crystal Palace. At the second attempt, Palace have been the better side so far. It's Crystal Palace leading 1-0 here at Liverpool.
Thanks very much. 1-0 to Wolves here at Molineux against Manchester City as Savinho comes again. On the right-hand side, a few boos from him from the Wolves fans. John Stones gets it, rolls it to Ruben Diaz, back out to Savinho again on the right-hand side. First touch into Ilkay Gundogan. Manchester City's midfield without Rodri, of course, without Kevin De Bruyne. There had been a hope that he might be back involved today, but he's not made the matchday squad. They'll hope to have him for for next weekend at Manchester City when they take on Southampton. They've got Champions League in the midweek as well. Here is Doku, left-hand side. Takes on Joe Gomez, does well against him, but Gomez doesn't give up. That's wonderful battling back. Doku tries to battle back, a real tussle between the pair of them, but Wolves are able to clear the ball away. Clinton.
He's a player, Gomez. Wolves' recruitment is good to bring in players of him and Andre, because them two in that midfield so far have been outstanding, but I do like Gomez. Brazilian international as well.
If you're joining our coverage later, a breakaway for Wolves, and Nelson Semedo cross picked out Jorgen Strand-Larsen unmarked, and he was able to side-foot it home. Good finish, though, to a bouncing pass. As Doku on the attack here for Manchester City, weaves and jiggles and then rolls it to Guardiola on the edge of the box. Brilliant ball to Bernardo Silva. He tries to take on the defender. There's too many around him. There's appeals for a handball. It ricocheted up onto the arm of Bernardo Silva, and the referee says that is a handball and a free kick to Wolves, and that will leave some pressure for them.
You see what the pattern of the game is, Connor, because now Wolves have got the goal. They've got something to hold on to. They're going to make it nice and compact, hard to break down. And this, Man City, they play like against this most weekends anyway. So they're going to have to just try and play that intricate passing, which they're doing at the moment. But Wolves have to be nice and solid.
Strand-Larsen goal was in the 7th minute today. Last weekend, Wolves both scored and conceded within the opening 4 minutes in that crazy match against Brentford. Gary O'Neill's side, certainly you can't take your eye off them. There's going to be goals at both ends, you'd imagine, the way they're playing at the moment. Here is Nelson Semedo, who provided the assist for the opener here. Doesn't fancy taking on Guardiola. Wolves retreat to hold on to possession. Craig Dawson at the heart of defence rolls it to Mario Lemina, who's making his 150th appearance in English football. He gives it back short to Dawson again, and now they look expansively long and wide and trying to get it over the top for Guardiola, looking for Nelson Semedo, but Guardiola keeps his eye on the ball and cushions the header back to the Brazilian goalkeeper Edison, away to our left-hand side. 1-0 to Wolves at Molineux, Premier League Sunday and 5 live on BBC Sounds. Here comes Rico Lewis, right-hand side for Manchester City. Short to Savinho. continuing to boo him. I think that they feel that he dived perhaps to get the booking for Totti Gomez, but only that was the case. But I'm presuming that's what the boos are for the Brazilian. It's Doku now on the left-hand side for Manchester City, gives it short to Guardiola, back into the middle again to Ruben Diaz. Midway inside the Wolves half, to the right wing to Rico Lewis. City who just come in wave after wave of attack. Bernardo Silva controls inside the box, but two defenders around him and he can't bring it with him. And now Ryan Atsnouri in a tight corner at left back should clear away here, and he's played a ball into Matthias Cunha that is fraught with danger, but didn't Matthias Cunha do well, and he skipped it forward into the back to Nelson Semedo. What a great first touch. He's in here, tries to beat Edison. Wonderful save. Guardiola got back and applied pressure, but Nelson Semedo, who's only ever scored one Premier League goal for Wolves, could see the white of the eyes of the goalkeeper there, but he couldn't get the ball past him. Good save from Edison.
They're too open, City, and I've seen a lot of that this season. It's brilliant play from Cunha. I think Cunha can play it early enough, though, but he does, and the touch from Semedo is brilliant. He just can't set himself. He's trying to go back onto his right foot. If he's left-footed, he scores, Connor, but he tries to take it back onto his right foot. Good save from Edison, but Man City are open when they're in possession, but brilliant play from Cunha, good play from Semedo.
I was listening to you chatting with Steve Crossman before the game. You're asking who could take that Ola Traore role. He's the man, Cunha. He can take players on. He can drop his shoulder. He can surge from the halfway line, and that was brilliant from him. That really was really good. He's back in the team today, and Wolves look much better for it. Here is Aït-Nouri on the left-hand side. The corner which came in, swept over the penalty area. Cunha on the left-hand side won it. Then he's given it away, and now he's got to get back in position. Savinho gets dragged back. Totti Gomez is already on a yellow. Is it him? Referee is pulling out the cards.
I think it's Aït-Nouri.
Wow.
It was him and Semedo, to be fair. I think it was Semedo on that side, but I think Aït-Nouri gives the ball away. It might be that he's going to go and book Semedo. It is Semedo, because Semedo was like really disappointed at Aït-Nouri. So yeah, I think he's giving a yellow card to Semedo.
Yeah, so yellow card for Nelson Semedo, who joins Totti Gomez in the book. They were both running past him as the whistle was blown. And two of the defenders now for Wolves are carrying yellow cards in the game, but Wolves have the key lead. The goal from Jorgen Strand Larsen, which makes this a really enticing prospect now. Doku tries to make a burst for the byline left-hand side. Nelson Semedo stays with him, and he's helped out there by João Gomez as well, who always works hard. And that ball goes out for a Manchester City throw in on the left-hand side. But every little 50-50 battle like that's won by Wolves gets a big roar from the Molineux crowd. They need the Wolves fans to be the 12th man today against this powerful Manchester City side. Here's Kovacic, central location, 15 yards outside the penalty area. To the right-hand side to John Stones. Helps it on further to Savinho. Aït-Nouri comes and lunges into him. That's the way to deal with Savinho. Get in good and early. Wolves regain possession. Cunha, how cheeky is that? Back heel on his own byline to Aït-Nouri, who's closed down by Rico Lewis. It's a throw into Wolves, who I think are enjoying the fact they're in the lead here. They're enjoying this situation they found themselves in.
Yeah, they are. And let me tell you something. I've said it many times about Cunha. If he just added more goals, he could go one of the top clubs. I think he's a fantastic, clever footballer, and he's had a good career. But everyone's always said, can he score enough goals? And that's always been the question thrown at him. But such a clever footballer.
Over the last 12 months, he has scored 14 Premier League goals, Matthias Cunha, which is twice as many as any other Wolves player in that period. That shows how important he is. They've got to keep him fit, they've got to keep him involved, but he is bursting with talent. Here is Kovacic, midway inside the Wolves half, drops his shoulder to go around Strand Larsen, lays it up to Kovacic on the left-hand side, onto his right boot, floats it in, looking for Haaland, and it just skims over the head of the Norwegian. Savinho was arriving too, Gundogan was in there, but thankfully from a Wolves point of view, it bounces harmlessly out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think Guardiola comes onto his right foot and he's trying to feed it into Haaland, and you're thinking everyone misses it. Will it sneak in that far post? But you're right, Connor. Just goes wide of the post. And Wolves are defending ever so well, but you're going to have to defend ever so well when you're playing against a top team like Man City.
22 minutes played. I think Haaland's only been involved in touching the ball once. He had a few touches in that dribble he had, but he's not been in the game at all. Now, of course, we've seen this movie before where he is a very quiet game and still manages to score a hat-trick. But so far, Wolves are keeping the ball well away from Erling Haaland, who has scored goals for fun against them in the past. Long clearance by Jose Sa, controlled by...
Watch this space now.
Yeah, watch this, exactly.
Wolves fans are screaming now. Don't say that.
Don't poke the bear.
Don't poke the bear.
So far, Totti Gomez, Craig Dawson, They are keeping the ball away from Erling Haaland. Here come City on the left-hand side. Doku, of course, there's more than Haaland who can score goals in this City team. Gundogan in the penalty area here. Nice reverse ball by Guardiola to Doku again, to the byline. Pulls it back, looking for Gundogan. Dawson reacts on the edge of the 6-yard box and puts it out. You know, if they're going to hold on to this 1-0 lead for the next 3 quarters of this game, it's going to have to be a Herculean defensive effort from Wolves.
Yeah, and that's where you're gonna need your bench as well, because you're gonna have tired mind, tired legs. It's so difficult to defend like this for the whole 90 minutes, but they're doing well at the moment.
I mentioned Ruben Diaz playing for Portugal against Scotland on Tuesday. Bernardo Silva played in that game too, and it's quite like this. Scotland just had to sit back in the defend, but they did, and they kept Portugal out. Here comes the corner, played in towards Haaland, can't get his head to it. Savinho gets it back down to the deck. Rico Lewis to Doku. Back out to Gundogan, who'd taken the corner. He sends it in, right-footed from the left-hand side. Andre hits the deck, claiming that he'd been kicked as he tried to challenge for the ball there. But he's made it tough stuff, and he doesn't make a big song and dance about it. And he plays on as Manchester City have possession. Midway point of the first half, Wolves 1, Manchester City 0 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds at Molineux. Rico Lewis, centre of the park. Kovacic gets a touch. Stones. It's a flurry of busy Manchester City passing on the edge of the Wolves penalty area. But can they find the incisive ball? The one that could damage and hurt their opponents. Savinho, just outside the penalty area, plays a 1-2 with John Stones. This is on the right-hand side. Another 1-2 with Stones. Now the delivery. Cross the penalty area. Taken on the instep by Doku. 2 defenders in front of him. It's played back to Kovacic. Mateus Cunha gets in. There's appeals that Kovacic handled it. Play on, says the referee. Doku tries to turn in the area. And that's brilliant defending by João Gomez. And Wolves get a free kick. They are working hard. They're putting their bodies on the line. And those 50-50 battles continue to be won by Wolverhampton Wanderers players when 1-on-1.
You know what João Gomez is doing ever so well? Doubling up, helping Semedo. He's obviously been on that yellow card, but he's always battling and he's helping, and he does ever so well. That's what you need when you've won the ball back to win a free kick. Just get your team up the pitch. Brilliant play from João Gomez again.
25 minutes in, and conceding early goals, which has been a scourge for Wolves this season. Is this a sign that they're improving, that they've kept this clean sheet so far? Jose Sa takes the free kick from inside his own penalty area, looking for the Wolves goal scorer, Jorgen Strand Larsen. He's outnumbered. City get it back with Edison, bowls the ball out underarm to Rico Lewis on the right hand side, up to the halfway line to Savinho, back to John Stones. There is an urgency about City. They aren't just, oh well, we can just live with this for a while. They are urgent to try and get an equalizer as soon as possible. Kovacic turns inside the centre circle. 11 men back behind the ball for Wolves. Guardiola gives it short to Gundogan. It's all 1-2 touch stuff from City. Guardiola again. Back into the centre to Ruben Diaz. Head up, looking for options. Picks a short pass to Gundogan. Laying it off to Kovacic. Foul by João Gomez. Free kick to Manchester City. 10 yards outside the penalty area. Bernardo Silva takes it really quickly. It's worked out to Doku on the left-hand side. Wolves try to settle their defence. Another free kick. Second in very quick succession as João Gomez takes down Doku. A free kick to Manchester City just outside the box on the left-hand side.
Yeah, he just hadn't do a lot. He just fouled there, João Gomez. He tried to get up. He's trying to help Semedo, and he gives another free kick. In a dangerous position, but I think Wolves would rather the free kicks be here, Connor, where they can defend balls into their box, because they shouldn't be getting done on a set piece.
Wolves beat City here last season. They lead against them here today. And this free kick, which you wouldn't deem to be a shooting position, mind you, stranger things have happened, but it's a platform to send in across here now for either Bernardo Silva or for Ilkay Gundogan. It's a little hush just descends around Molineux. The home fans have been so impressed with what they've seen from their team so far today. It's been a tough start to the season for Wolves, who spent the international break bottom of the table. Here's Gundogan's delivery, played it well, but Strand Larsen is tall, heads it out. Savinho miscues. Fresh air shot for the Brazilian. That's the big cheer from the Wolves fans. City still have possession, but the urgency of that set piece has dissipated. Here's Gundogan on the left-hand side, giving it to Bernardo Silva, level with the edge of the penalty area, pulls it back infield to Kovacic, onto Rico Lewis now. This flurry of passes from Manchester City, but not getting into really threatening positions at the moment. Doku steps into the penalty area. That's nice. Bernardo Silva crashes one in low. It hits Totti Gomez on the goal line, but it goes out of the penalty area and Wolves breathe again.
Yeah, it's good defending. Brilliant defending from Totti Gomez, but they're knocking on the door, Man City, and Wolves can't get hold of the ball at the moment.
5 Live at BBC Sounds. The Stones with a misplaced pass to Savinho brings a big roar out of the Wolves fans, who I think enjoy a Manchester City mistake more than they do something that their own team does well.
They do, yeah.
Match of the day 2 tonight, by the way, 10:30 on BBC One. Chappers will be with Danny Murphy, Theo Walcott, and Rafa Benitez this evening on Match of the Day 2. All the goals from today and yesterday. There's a nutmeg by Savinho, picks out Rico Lewis into the penalty area. Tutti Gomez just to flick it out of the box. It doesn't go very far. Aït-Nouri with some good work to weave it away from Bernardo Silva like a Spanish matador there. He does the little Cruyff turn away from Bernardo Silva, clears the ball away. Strand Larsen goes down in a challenge at Ruben Diaz. Wolves fans baying for a free kick there. Pep Guardiola comes out of his technical area to play ball boy and just rubs the top of the head of Matthias Cunha. I always think he's sort of passive-aggressive.
Yeah, it wasn't
Pep Guardiola.
like
When he interacts with opponents, he's always so friendly with them.
He is.
So friendly.
That's his way of being not very friendly.
Here's Ruben Diaz. 20 yards outside the penalty area, central location. City playing from left to right as we look down, trailing away from home at Molineux. Arsenal fans tuned our way will be willing Wolves to do them a massive favour here. Liverpool fans too, who've got a big game against Chelsea. I mean, can you imagine the atmosphere at Anfield if City were to lose here today, having seen Arsenal lose yesterday? I mean, what an opportunity that would be for Liverpool against Chelsea later on. Full commentary of that game, 4:30 here on 5 Live. The BBC Sounds of City playing in low. Doku, who continues to create chances. This one skirted along the edge of the 6-yard box, but no City player could get on the end of it, and Wolves clear away. Strand Larsen tries to give it to Lamela. Good work from Rico Lewis to win it back from City in a game that's been played at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's got to do better there, Larsen, because if he gets hold of the ball, Cunha, as you said, he's the danger man. He was in there.
Doku again, attacking the penalty area left-hand side, pulls it back to Guardiola. Pressure from Joe Gomez. She's worked really hard in this opening half hour at Molineux. Now, walking pace for Ruben Diaz. He accelerates quickly, bursts into the penalty area too. The defence is switched off there. Good work though by Andre to shadow the ball, to shield it, and to run it out of play despite the impressions of Ruben Diaz to try and get his body around him and win possession back for Manchester City. Wolves here continue to hang on, but there's still more than an hour of this game to go.
Definitely. Listen, your defenders have to defend, but you know who else? They can only defend well if it starts from the front. So Larsen, Cunha doing their job, but the midfield three have been outstanding for Wolves, in my mind. The way they cover the ground, Gomez, Andre and Lamina, they've been brilliant so far.
Since Pep Guardiola's come to the Premier League, the team that he's lost the most league games against has been Tottenham. He's lost 6 games to them. He's lost 5 times against Manchester United. And he's lost 5 against Chelsea. He's lost 4 against Liverpool. But the next team after those clubs is Wolves. Wolves have beaten Guardiola's team 3 times in the Premier League in the past. Not quite bogey team level, but it might be if they win today.
Yeah, it might be. You're right. The Man City fans don't want to hear that.
Gary O'Neill, look how animated he is down there. He sees this as a massive opportunity for his team. Doku attacks Nelson Semedo again. No one's picked up Kovacic into the penalty area, but Lamina sliding back, puts it out for a corner. They're continuing to hang on. Corner to City.
Yeah, and you know what? It's hard for the midfielders, and that's why I say you got 3 at the back. Bueno has to come, and he has to follow one of the midfield runners, because the 3 centre-backs only have Haaland to deal with, unless Gundogan or Bernardo Silva goes in there. But it's good defending, as you said, Connor.
Corner for Gundogan. Left-hand side of City come forward. Wolves 1, Manchester City 0. Gundogan raises his right hand as a signal. Here it comes, short run up, in swinger, keeper stays on the line. Header won by Dawson, is pushing in there, pushing on, and that's going to be a free kick to Wolves, and they will take their time over this. Here's one for you, Clinton. The last 7 Premier League games included today for City, they've now gone behind in 5 of them.
Wow, didn't know that. So they are conceding a lot of goals at the moment, Connor. They are. And listen, that's because I feel where City are dominant and the fullbacks push forward and the centre-backs are... If you've got pace and you can counter-attack, you will be able to cause City a lot of problems. But that's their philosophy, and that's what they stick to, and that is why they're the best team in the world, because 9 times out of 10 it works.
Free kick taken by Jose Sa, high up over the halfway line. Matheus Cunha wins the flick on. Aït-Nouri had anticipated it, but he was in an offside position. He sort of ran there hoping Cunha would get the flick on, but the Algerian didn't stay onside. Free kick to Manchester City. But that's the vulnerability for the champions. Balls over the top.
Yeah, you're right. And it's the quick counter-attack as well. And if Larsen holds it or wins the flick on, they got the likes of Aït-Nouri, Semedo and Cunha that are the ones that are getting forward.
Here comes Doku again down the left-hand side. Nelson Semedo just shadowing him. Not lunging in, but running alongside Doku. holding him up in effect. He's been helped out a lot by Joe Gomez today. Here's Guardiola. Guardiola shoots! What a shot! What a goal! Josko Guardiola. Manchester City needed something special to get back on level terms. And how do you legislate against that? Doku sprinting down the left wing, pulls it back to the left back, and you think he's probably going to cross here. He might lay it into the midfield. No. Josko Guardiola with other ideas, and he powers it into the top corner. It's now 5 goals in these last 7 Premier League away games. Guardiola for City, and the game is back to 1-1.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Listen, there's sometimes you have to hold your hand up as Wolves have, because Wolves have defended well, and just thinking he's going on to his weaker right foot, let him shoot. But that is a fantastic finish from Guardiola. He just bends that. That's a strike, and he just strikes it right into that far corner. Maybe Saar might be disappointed because he gets a hand to it, Connor, and I think if you get a hand to it, maybe it's not strong enough, but I'm giving credit to Guardiola. I think it's a fantastic strike.
The second goal of the season of the Premier League for Josko Guardiola, scored against Newcastle in September. And Chelsea Saar, who's in the team today because Sam Johnson picked up an injury in training. Saar, who made a wonderful save to deny Bernardo Silva earlier on, but couldn't keep that one out. And now that City are back on level terms, how is the tide going to turn, perhaps? Doku. 33 minutes it took City to get that equaliser. Doku trying to get into the penalty area. Nutmeg, and Nelson Semedo takes a tumble. Referee thought he went down too dramatically. No penalty. VAR, of course, will look at everything in the background as Nelson Semedo clears the ball away. The Wolves have already gone and scored in the game. Can they do it again?
Well, they can, but they need to get a bit of possession. It was good play for their goal by Cunha, but that's who they need to get on the ball more, because he's the one who can protect the ball and link it and play the incisive pass to the likes of Semedo out Nori.
5 Live and BBC Sounds. Remember, you can also listen live on your smart speaker. Simply say to your device, play Radio 5 Live, and you'll be with us at all times as Kovacic plays into the penalty area towards Haaland. Couldn't control on the edge of the box. And the ball runs through to Jose Saar. And Wolverhampton Wanderers goalkeeper gives a little patronising pat on the bum for Haaland as he walks past him there. 1-1 at Molineux, 10 minutes to go to half-time. Craig Dawson, who played really well against City when Wolves won this fixture last season. Your central defenders have to play well if you're going to beat this Guardiola team. Here's Gundogan, midway inside Wolves territory. Short to Kovacic. Back into Gundogan. Now to Rico Lewis. Back into this flurry of passes for Manchester City. Diaz, Kovacic. Always with the head up, always looking to see who's free. Diaz to the goal scorer Guardiola. Onto Doku, who claimed the assist. Nelson Semedo standing up in front of him. Guardiola urged to shoot again for the Manchester City fans, but he didn't have enough space this time. Doku steps into the penalty area. Quick feet, takes on Nelson Semedo. Good reaction for the fullback, and it goes out for yet another Manchester City quarter. 1-1 at Molineux.
Yeah, Semedo's done well against Doku because Doku wants to always come into his right foot, and he's saying go down the line because he thinks he can match him. But really good defending again from Nelson Semedo.
Corner's been taken short. Kovacic rolls it across to Savinho, fancied it, but got under it. And it rose and it flew and it went over the crossbar. And that is a goal kick to Wolves, away to our right-hand side. 1-1 here, back to the WSL. The 2 o'clock kickoff, Liverpool against Crystal Palace and Sani Radjavajula.
37 gone, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Liverpool with a big chance at the moment. Mia Envy through on goal. She's come all the way, and the keepers come out to stop the first one, and defenders manage to stop the second. Liverpool pushing to get back into this, but it's still Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Thanks very much, Sherry. Earlier on today, Manchester City beat Aston Villa by 2-1 in the WSL. Leicester take on Everton later. West Ham play Arsenal. Chelsea against Spurs. They're all later kickoffs today. We'll keep you up to date with the Championship too. Hull against Sunderland will be kicking off in around about 20 minutes' time, and we'll have all the details there. Back to Sally again, another goal at Liverpool.
Well, Crystal Palace had dealt with the danger, but then it carried on again from Liverpool, and Cornelia Capoch with a great finish on the left-hand side has made it Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1.
And a big chance for Manchester City here, and Wolves are lucky. Guardiola, who scored the equaliser, surging into the penalty area with the goalkeeper rushing towards him. He tried to flick it into, I think, Bernardo Silva, who would have had a tap-in with the keeper out of position, but Wolves, just about aided by a ricochet, managed to deny that pass being made.
Yeah, another good run, and that was free. There was a goalkeeper, Saar, and 2 other Wolves defenders coming there. I thought Guardiola was just going to take it round Saar, but he tries to pick Bernardo. They get fortunate there, Wolves, but they deserve that luck because they defended ever so well so far.
It's 1-1 here. 5 live at Molineux in the Premier League. Manchester City, who were behind Jorgen Strand Larsen's opening goal, but Guardiola has equalised, and City dominating ominously. Guardiola to Ruben Diaz. 12 yards outside the penalty area, central location. A couple of touches for the Portuguese central defender, then he gives it to Kovacic, all at a standstill. To his right-hand side is to John Stones, further on to Savinho, back into Stones. This is all 10 yards. Gary O'Neill, they're urging his team just to step out a little bit. He doesn't want them to be too deep either. Here's Guardiola again, back into Ruben Diaz. City, who will be patient, they'll wait for the opponents to leave a gap. Gundogan, back to Guardiola. Over to Doku on the left-hand side. Doku setting up that goal for Guardiola is the first Premier League assist that the Belgian has provided this season. Guardiola again. Kovacic, number 8 in his back. Tries a shot, but he was slightly off balance as he did so. So kicked down into the ground, and that was easily dealt by Wolves, but they're finding it very difficult to retain possession. Gary O'Neill's team, they win it, but it's like kicking it off a ball. It just bounces straight back to Manchester City again.
Yeah, I just feel Larsen has to do better when it comes there. He's got to put a body on and try and buy a free kick for his team.
Here comes City, no way through for Savinho. Good work by Andre. Now Matthias Cunha tries to relieve him under pressure. He's done really well. Bursting up to the halfway line, and he's fouled, and it's a yellow card for Savinho.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Larsen can't do that, but Cunha can do that. Larsen's better being further up the pitch, but because he's dropping in so deep, they can't get out. That's why I'd let him stretch and occupy Diaz and Stones. Leave Cunha, because he's the one who can take you up the pitch and get free kicks. Brilliant play from Cunha.
Right, a chance here. Let's see if Wolves could have a spell inside the Manchester City half, because they are under such pressure at the back, but immediately they retreat into their final third again. Santiago Bueno over to Nelson Semedo. Guardiola well to win the ball briefly back for Manchester City. Wolves will tussle for it here on the halfway line with João Gomez, helped out by Andre. Now, is Strand Larsen onside? Oh, I thought he might have been, but the flag goes up. He made a big effort, the Norwegian, to step back, but obviously was fractionally off as the pass was played.
Yeah, it was a close one. He did try to get back on. He might not have just got back on side. He did try his best to get onside, and he was offside. So credit the linesman.
Tom Bramall on the far side, who was supposed to be fourth official today, but running the line. Here's Gundogan into the penalty area. Back to Rico Lewis, and a great tackle again by Andre inside the penalty area to win it for Wolves. Here's Cunha. Can he relieve the pressure? Sends it in front of Aït-Nouri, who's sprinting now into Manchester City territory. Strand Larsen's at the back post, played in towards him, but chested down as an interception by Ruben Diaz. Manchester City did better reacting to the counter-attack there.
Yeah, it was good play, to be fair. It's that guy Cunha again, Connor. He just gets into pockets. And Aït-Nouri, Savinho didn't want to run back, but he had to, because Stone said, you need to track your man. But he tries to play it to Larsen, but it's good defending from Ruben Diaz. But end-to-end now.
We had Conor Cody on in the build-up, and, it was interesting listening to him. It was all about Wolves' defence and saying how he thought Nelson Semedo and Aït-Nouri would get forward a bit more, and how useful that would be, playing this three at the back. And both of them have looked really good on those rare occasions they've been able to get forward.
Yeah, he knows it better. Connor obviously knows the football club and playing that formation, and he knows the two players, and he's right. Them two have got forward ever so well.
Savinho, right-hand side for Manchester City, shadowed by Aït-Nouri. He loves to go forward, but he's got to get back whenever he can against this Manchester City team. 4 minutes of normal time to go into the break. Jeremy Doku steals into the penalty area left-hand side, gives it to Guardiola, who for a moment thought about a shot, but he's laid it off. And now Doku in front of Gundogan, but too far in front, and sliding out along the ground. Jose Sa wins it back for Wolves.
See, it's so hard for João Gomez, because what Gomez is trying to do, he's trying to double up on Doku, and that enables space for Guardiola to come in there, and that's why he's getting free shots.
The Wolves are doing well here. They got the early lead. They have conceded an equalizer, but it's not like Jose Sa's goal has been peppered with shots here. City in around the penalty area almost with omnipresence, but they're not getting shots at the end of it. Here's Gundogan.
Wolves not helping themselves, Connor, because the three centre-backs have to be better on the ball, and that's what Gary O'Neill wants them to play out, and some misplaced passes is putting pressure back on their team.
This is Ruben Diaz out to Doku again. Familiar dance with Nelson Semedo. Gundogan tried to lay it in front of Guardiola, who's out of position at left back now. Yes, João Gomez will come forward here. He's got Nelson Semedo ahead of him. Doku, that's not a foul. He's won it cleanly. And now Doku attacking the penalty area left-hand side. Strand Larsen's done really well to get back. He's held up the Belgian. Gundogan comes to help out. Gundogan just took a few touches wayward in the penalty area. It was like he was caught in two minds there. Normally so decisive. Strand Larsen clears it up, but of course he's the striker, so when he clears it up, there's no one else ahead of him. And you can sense a little disgruntled. I mean, disgruntled is too strong a word. The Wolves fans, they're impressed with what their team are doing here, but they realise they need more of an outlet, as you've been describing.
Yeah, and that's why it's a difficult one, because he's trying to get everyone behind. I'll let this attack go.
It's Savinho, left-footed ball into the penalty area, too high for Haaland, held by Joseph.
You know what it is, Connor? He's trying to get all his players behind the ball and letting Stones and Diaz have the ball. Let them have it to go wide, because that's where you want them to go wide when you're playing a fight. But Larsen's so deep that when Wolves win the ball, they've got no one to hit, and then they're relying on the likes of Semedo, Nouri. That's why I would just keep him up front and have a target to hit.
Plenty live sport coming up later on today on 5 Live, the United States Grand Prix live from Texas this evening. That race starts at 7:30. You can listen to the game on 5 Live. Here is Lamina, back to Andre, back to Dawson again, and the only way Wolves are able to put a run of passes together is to retreat at the moment. Can they pass inside their opponent's half? Top to Gomez, gives it to Cunha. Cunha up against Rico Lewis, rolls it into Mike Nouri, tries to get on the end of the 1-2, but it wasn't a great return pass from Mike Nouri. It goes straight out of play and into the arms of Pep Guardiola, wearing the smart, tight-fitting sweater down there. He's into his autumn-winter collection now, Pep Guardiola.
Them chinos are nice and them shoes are nice. He always looks smart.
He's well manicured down there, isn't he? He's well turned out.
Always is.
Yes. Gary O'Neill, more casual, shall we say, with the hoodie to his right-hand side as Ait Nouri tries to tackle Savinho as a tricky customer. Gundogan stabs it towards Haaland, cut out by Dawson. Handball maybe by Kovacic. Referee says play out as Wolves hammer it clear anyway. We're into the final 45 seconds of normal time at the end of a first half that's just flown by. If you're joining our coverage here on 5 Live at BBC Sounds, Wolves scored first. Brilliant counter-attacking goal. Strand Larsen for Wolves, but City persistence kept plugging away, and Guardiola with a quite wonderful finish from well outside the penalty area into the top corner. 1-1 is how it stands for now, and it feels so key, Clinton, that Wolves don't concede before this half-time whistle.
Yeah, it's a different half-time team talk if they concede. They've got to stay tight.
Doku tries to cross, blocked by Nelson Semedo. Corner to Manchester City as we prepare to move into stoppage time.
You know, watching Savinho, he reminds me a lot of Morris. It's like Man City do it. The way he plays and comes in on his left foot and his touch and that, he's so similar to Morris. They recruit ever so well.
It's like it's clone sort of stuff, isn't it? The way he shifts his balance, the way he moves his arms as he shapes to shoot. We're into stoppages, of which 2 minutes are going to be added on. And Savinho, the Mahrez impersonator, is lurking on the edge of the penalty area here. There's no one marking him as well, as Gundogan prepares to take this corner kick. Haaland is standing on the penalty spot. He makes a burst towards the front post. Played in high. John Stones gets up, but beaten in the air by Santiago Bueno. City get it back with Rico Lewis. He'll play it over to the left-hand side to Doku. Wolves don't step out. Some of their fans roaring at them to do so, but they're being disciplined. They're hanging, holding their position. It's like the Mel Gibson movie, holds as they stand on the edge of the penalty area there and refuse to go out Braveheart style. Nelson Semedo clears it away, but there's no one on his wavelength, no one trying to get on the end of the pass, and City regain possession once again. And it's another wave of City attack now as Bernardo Silva crosses from the left-hand side. Dawson gets in front of Haaland well. His clearance goes straight back to Bernardo Silva. Lamina tries to flick it away. Can't find a teammate as Guardiola gets possession. City want to take the lead ahead of the break. Doku has it on the left-hand side, takes on Joe Gomez, low ball into the penalty area to Bernardo Silva, tries to drag it back under his studs. Stood brilliantly well here, Bernardo Silva. Here's Savinho, shoots on target, brilliant save again, Jose Sa. Diving down to his right. That's a tricky one to get down for, and he pushes it out for a corner again.
He's told Gary O'Neill today he wants to be the number one, even when Sam Johnson is fit, because that's another brilliant save from Jose Sa. Coming through bodies, fantastic fingertip save around the corner.
These moments came. As Clinton says, the team talk is it's black and white, completely different if Wolves concede here in these seconds ahead of the break. 1-1 for the moment at Molineux. Gundogan's latest corner, more lofted this time. Guardiola jumps, wins the header down, but Andre is able to clear it away. And anywhere will do for Wolves at the moment at 1-1. And there is the whistle for half-time. We've got a game in our hands here. Manchester City, having seen Arsenal lose yesterday, have work to do. They've clawed their way back from 1-0 down. The Guardiola goal was very sweetly taken. Wolves defending like demons. Can they possibly keep this up for another 45 minutes?
It's going to be difficult because Man City are relentless and they'll keep coming and coming. But that's where you need your defenders and you need your goalie. Jose Sal's made 2 fantastic saves so far in his first half. But Wolves are always a threat on the counter-attack. But yeah, it's going to be tired mind, tired legs in the second half, Connor.
You stretch back to last season, Wolves have only taken 1 point from 10 Premier League games either side of summer. But they are holding Manchester City for now. It's been a very good performance from Gary O'Neill's team. Can they keep it up? Half-time here. Wolves 1, Manchester City 1.
Clinton Morrison only scores screamers, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, he only scores screamers, and a lot of them are on his right foot as well, and people think that's his weaker foot. I'd say he's 2-footed. After seeing that goal today, what a strike, Crossy. And you know what, it's a difficult one, but once he gets it onto that right foot, he'd probably say, no, let him shoot. But once he has that shot, it's a fantastic strike.
It's not a carbon copy by any estimation, but it did remind me a bit of the goal that City conceded, actually, to Calafiori when they played Arsenal.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, where Calafiori, obviously Martinelli got it, so it was Doku, he laid it back. And when you're trying to double up on the winger, he gets the opportunity, and it's a brilliant finish.
Sort of feel a bit for Wolves, I have to say, because they've been really good, haven't they? And you just can't legislate for that.
No, you can't. Sometimes I'm saying, if you're saying shoot from where they are on the edge of the box, let them have a shot. It's got to be some strike to beat Jose's side. Yeah, happy with it because the shape of Wolves have been good, but it's hard. You're playing against one of the best teams, if not the best team in world football at the moment. So you're going to concede chances, and that's why you need your goalkeeper and your midfield, who have done excellent so far in this first half.
Good game, as Connor said, absolutely flew by. Wolves won, Manchester City 1. We'll be back for second half commentary. By the way, you can listen on your smart speaker as well to everything on 5 Live. Just say play Radio 5 Live. They should bring up a play Clinton Morrison thing. I think that would go down well on the smart speaker as well. 85058 at 5 Live Sport. If you want to get in touch with us already in the WSL this afternoon, it's finished Manchester City 2, Aston Villa 1. We're going to hear from City's Lauren Hemp before second half commentary from Molyneux. We've reached half time in the game between Liverpool and Crystal Palace. Sani Rudravajula.
Yeah, Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1. The promoted club have been the better side and took a deserved lead through ex-Liverpool frontwoman Katie Stengel. She got 19 in Reds colours, helping them to the Championship title, and got a first to Palace after a scramble in the box. Palace had more chances as well, but Liverpool eventually got back into this. After all of Palace's good work, it was defensive mishap that allowed Cornelia Kapoc in to score 8 minutes before the break. Katie Stengel again, just before half-time, had a great chance, hooked through on goal, but blazing over 7 yards out. Half-time, Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Hull City against Sunderland and Leicester versus Gloucester in the Gallagher Premiership. Their games get underway at 3 o'clock. So we'll take you to the MKM Stadium and to Welford Road shortly. We'll also have our first look ahead to the Women's T20 World Cup final this afternoon. We'll do all of that after the news on 5 Live with Richard Foster.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Thanks, Chris. Good afternoon. Sir Chris Hoyer's appeared on the BBC for the first time since revealing he has terminal cancer. He's taking part in the coverage of the track cycling in Copenhagen this afternoon, but didn't mention his diagnosis. Here he is speaking to the show's host, Jill Douglas.
A very warm welcome to the final day of competition here at the Track Cycling World Championships. Alongside me, as he has been all week, Sir Chris Hoy. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing well, thanks. Yeah, having a great week, some incredible performances, and hopefully some more to come.
And among friends, it's been great to see so many familiar faces here this week.
It's always great to be back in the track centre. So many familiar faces, teammates, coaches, rivals. Yeah, and happy memories for me too from coming back to Copenhagen from 2002 and 2010.
So doctors have given Sir Chris between 2 and 4 years to live, but he's posted on Instagram that he's feeling fit, strong and positive. The Hamas-run health ministry says at least 87 people have been killed and more than 40 injured in Israeli strikes on a residential area in northern Gaza. The ministry says several victims are still under the rubble. Israel disputes those casualty figures. Ministers say they'll oversee the HS2 rail project to try to get a grip on rising costs. The Transport Secretary Louise Hay says there's been a dire failure to control spending on the scheme to link London and Birmingham. And Elon Musk says he's going to give away $1 million every day to a registered voter in Pennsylvania until the presidential election next month. The winner will be chosen from people who sign a petition by his campaign group called America PAC, which he set up to support Donald Trump's campaign.
Was Anne Boleyn really a wicked queen?
People feared women who were smart.
Slay girl. Exactly. What about Rasputin? A miraculous mystic or a die-hard deviant?
I think there's some bad stuff in there. I do weirdly respect him.
On Evil Genius, we're the judges of that. Join me, Russell Kane, and a host of comedians as we put more historical legends under scrutiny to find out if they're evil or genius? Evil Genius. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
And it's Wolves 1, Manchester City 1 at Molineux. We'll be back there shortly for second half commentary. We'll make our first trip of the day to Anfield shortly as well. Liverpool versus Chelsea in full on Premier League Sunday at 4:30. In the next few minutes, they'll be underway in the final of the Women's T20 World Cup, where a first-time winner is guaranteed. New Zealand take on South Africa in Dubai. There's full commentary on 5 Sports Extra. Daniel Norcross is there. Paint us a picture, Dan.
Well, we've got a big crowd in, actually. 24,000 tickets have been sold. And it's quite remarkable because this World Cup was supposed to take place in Bangladesh. It got moved at the very last minute because of political crisis in that country. And yet somehow the ICC is set up in the UAE. That's where their main offices are. And they've got these 2 venues that they've been using, Sharjah and Dubai. Dubai's the big one. It's got the Ring of Fire, which is a series of spotlights, really. It's a different kind of lighting technique we have here. And it's a really impressive stadium, and it's filling up really well. The teams are out there now having the anthems with their mascots. The flags are out there. And it's a brilliant occasion because, as you mentioned there, no one really expected these 2 sides to be in the final. South Africa were kind of dark horses. New Zealand have a terrible time of late.
Oh, do you know what? We've lost Dan Norcross. He was just getting into his flow as well. Well, there is commentary on 5 Sports Extra. I'm going to assume there are lots of different lines, so it's going to be absolutely fine. If we can get Dan back, then we will. But yeah, that gets underway in the next few minutes. Final of the Women's T20 World Cup, New Zealand against South Africa. In rugby union, 1 match in the Premiership this afternoon. Leicester Tigers at home to Gloucester. Hopefully, come in, Alfie Reynolds.
Yeah, Leicester and Gloucester are both rebuilding this season, so doing so, though, in very contrasting styles. Through the first 4 rounds of the Premiership, Leicester have had the best defence, whilst Gloucester are the top scorers, and hoping their new focus on attack can drag them up the table, having finished second bottom in 3 of the last 4 campaigns. Leicester have lost just once, so they could go third with a win today. Gloucester, meanwhile, they're aiming for only their second win. Some late team news for you. Dan Kelly starts for Leicester in place of Isaiah Parisi, so Will Wand comes onto the bench for the Tigers. It's Leicester hosting Gloucester in Premiership rugby.
Already today in the Scottish Premiership, Kilmarnock beat Rangers by 1-0. Marley Watkins scored it. That means Rangers stay 6 points behind Aberdeen and Celtic at the top of the table. In the WSL, Manchester City came from a goal down to beat Aston Villa 2-1. Lauren Hemp got one of the goals as they go back to the top of the league.
Obviously, the aim of the game was to win, and we managed to do it. We seem to keep doing it the hard way, but obviously we got 3 points in the end, and going into the international unbeaten, obviously, is the aim. And yeah, games like that last season would have probably conceded or have gone on to drawn. So yeah, it's important that we learnt from that, and obviously this season managed to put things right and beat them. It was a tough game, and credit to them.
Talk me through then your goal, firstly, taking the touch with the head and then being able to finish it, and secondly, your run for the Jill Roord goal.
Yeah, I mean, the goal, obviously, it was a good cross from Layla. She managed to get her hand to it, so I just tried to get anything on it, and it happened to come off my head. And yeah, I mean, I knew the goalkeeper was off her line, so I just tried to kick it over her, and obviously it managed to do the trick. I think it was important to get an early goal in that second half because it gave us a lot of time to get a second. And obviously, yeah, I knew where Jill was going to be. I feel like we've got a really good connection, and we trained hard to work on that. So yeah, it was a great finish by her.
Lauren Hemp there speaking to Sarah Mulkerrins. Lots of action in the WSL this afternoon. We will keep you right up to date in the Championship. Second placed Sunderland can go back to the top of the league this afternoon. They're away at Hull City. Rob Law.
Have been a surprise package in the Championship this season, and if history is anything to go by, they probably fancy their chances this afternoon. The Black Cats unbeaten in 6 league visits here, stretching back 9 years. Regis Labrise names an unchanged side from the one that snatched a point against Leeds. As for Hull, it felt like they'd turned a corner early this month. They'd won 3 on the spin until they were thumped 4-0 at Norwich just before the international break. Their heaviest defeat in the league for 2 years. Tigers boss Tim Walter makes 4 changes, amongst them first starts for ex-Wigan defender Charlie Hughes after surgery on his appendix. Gustavo Poeta, who's on loan from Bayern Munich, starts, so Liam Miller and Oscar Zambrano drop to the bench. Worth pointing out Steve Hull spent the international break in Turkey for warm weather training. Back to reality this afternoon. Wind and rain swirling into the stadium. Turkey, it is not. Kick-off moments away.
Thank you very much, Rob. So once we're done with Wolves, Manchester City, second half on the way, 1-1 at the moment. We'll be focusing in on Liverpool, Chelsea at 4:30. Full commentary from Anfield on 5 Live. Correspondent John Murray is there. Good afternoon, John.
Yes, good afternoon, Steve.
I just think we're going to learn quite a lot today about these two, maybe.
Yeah, I would say so. In the match programme today, Arne Slot says that Chelsea are the strongest opponents they've faced yet, and I don't think there's too much disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
They've won 9 of their first 10 matches, so no other Liverpool manager has had a start as good as that. But against Chelsea, who themselves have not lost in the Premier League since the first weekend of the season, and before they drew 1-1 with Forest just before the international window, had won 5 in a row. So, you know, they've impressed many, haven't they? And I think as well for Liverpool, this is where it steps up as you look at the fixtures that they've got ahead. This today, go to Leipzig in the Champions League in midweek, then it's Arsenal at the Emirates next week, then the couple of matches against Brighton, then Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen, then Aston Villa, and not far beyond that, Real Madrid and Manchester City. So you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I do. Can you paint us a picture of Leon Osman? Because I was just listening to Rob there tell us about the weather there, and this is the start of the season where he starts to struggle.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be, because it is exceptionally mild.
Is it?
No, it's not.
It's exceptionally mild.
The sun's out, but it's cold, Steve. I've got my big coat on. I've got my hood up. Yeah, it's the winter months have approached.
Hopefully you'll get the sort of game to warm you up, Leon, etc., etc.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I mean, the two teams on paper in good form. The two teams with some very wonderful players, really blessed with what managers have got available. Two teams full of confidence coming into the fixture. And, you know, as John just pointed out, a big game for Liverpool, especially, I feel, with, you know, they've had that great start to the season. There's been talk about it's been an easy start and they should have won this game, the game so far. But this is a test. This is an informed Chelsea team coming to Anfield, and you know, they'll see how it turns out.
And I mentioned this earlier with Conor Cody, Patrick Bamford, and Rob Green, Leon, that if Chelsea were to win this today, you know, they'd go above Arsenal, and the "Are you challengers?" question will inevitably come up, and understandably so.
Yeah, I mean, if you're near the top of the league, why wouldn't those questions start to be asked? And, you know, I think Maresca's done a fantastic job. I wasn't sure he'd be able to get Chelsea this competitive so soon. I thought it was a job that would take at least, you know, the majority of the season and probably into next season before you started to see them gel together. But no, I mean, he has got a ridiculous amount of quality within the squad. You know, so many players to choose from, but it's about managing the squad and making sure the mentalities are right and making sure that everybody's pulling in the same direction, which isn't always the case because you've got a number of players that aren't happy because they're not involved. But it's finding a way of making the squad happy, and he seems to have done that, and you're seeing the way they're playing and showing that on the pitch.
More question marks still about Chelsea than Liverpool, John?
I think so, yeah. I think you would say that, but I think he's done a mightily impressive job of really sorting, in inverted commas, the wheat from the chaff. And I think you do also have to mention the fact that Ducks had been put in order at the end of last season, the way that they finished the season under Mauricio Pochettino. So there was definitely something to build on there as well. But I think that when you look at the talent of the squad, the form of the squad, what this team is capable of doing, the amount of money that's been spent in the couple of years that these owners have been at the club, then this is exactly where they should be.
It's going to be an interesting one. Liverpool-Chelsea at 4:30. Thank you very much, both Leon Osman and John Murray, your commentary team at Anfield. Teams just lining up back in the tunnel at Molineux. Second half commentary then of Wolves versus Manchester City. Changes, Conor McNamara.
Yeah, Wolves are going to make a change here. Tommy Doyle, who's a former Manchester City player. He only ever made one Premier League appearance during his time at the Etihad. Played in a few cup games. Most of his spell was out on loan, but Tommy Doyle is going to come on.
Andre.
And he replaces Andre. Now, we were wondering, Clinton, who he'd be replacing. That must be an injury. Must be a knock.
Surely, you could not be taking. He was one of the best players alongside João Gomez and Lamina in that midfield. So you never want to break that up. He wasn't on the yellow card either, was he, Connor?
No. Two Wolves players on yellow cards, Totti Gomez and Nelson Semedo. Mind you, I was at Tottenham yesterday when Ange Postecoglou raised a few eyebrows taking off James Maddison.
Yes.
And that actually, even though Maddison had played very well in the first half, Pape Sarr was used a different tool from the toolbox and certainly inspired Tottenham to a much better second half performance. So maybe Gary O'Neill's inspired by that. Anyway, that's the one change across both teams at half-time. We'll give you a full rundown of the lineups in a moment, but Wolves 1, City 1 for now. Strand Larsen putting Wolves in front. Guardiola equalising for City 12 minutes before half-time. City now playing literally with the sun on their backs as it beams down this bright October sunshine at Molineux onto the backs of the Manchester City players in their burgundy dark red shirts, played from right to left as we attack, as we look down.
I've noticed something in the second half. Man City wingers have swapped over as well.
Savigno's gone to the left-hand side. Doku to the right. Here is Savigno crossing it in towards Erling Haaland, who only had 7 touches of the ball in the first half, and he doesn't get a touch there, but Wolves headed out for a corner. So we've picked up where we left off. City on the attack, Wolves defending deep. Corner's going to be taken by Savigno. Manchester City, who had so much of the ball in that first half. They completed 278 passes in the first half. Here's the corner. Played in by Savigno, headed out by Dawson, only as far as Doku. 5 yards outside the penalty area. Gives it to Bernardo Silva, who's careful to remain onside and shielded by his old teammate Doyle by the byline. He is held up, but he was offside anyway. It's going to be a free kick to Wolves, about 10 yards or so from their byline, left full-back position for them. That 278 passes from City in the first half. In the Wolves half. That is the most of any team in the last 3.5 years in the Premier League. So that's how we've all seen one-sided games. That first half, in terms of passes in the opposition half, was as dominant as City has been in years. Free kick taken by Jose Sa. Down the left wing, looking for Strand Larsen, but goes straight out of play. And Rico Lewis uses the multi-ball system very well and takes the throw in, and Manchester City back in the groove once again. Guardiola got the equaliser. Comes over the halfway line, the heavily bearded Croatian. Scorer of Manchester City's goal in the first half. Savigno now dancing over it. Tries to skip past Nelson Semedo, who's had a very good game, it has to be said. Has he been busy with Doku in the first half, and now Savigno to keep tabs on. Savigno does a little drag back heel. Tries to skip around the other end. Wolves have got it covered though. And Nelson Semedo slightly skews his clearance and came off the outside of his boot. So he hasn't relieved the pressure as much as he could have done there. Doyle gets it down on the deck. Calming pass back to Totti Gomez. And under pressure from Haaland, he'll roll it back to Jose Sa inside the Wolves 6-yard box. So, reminder of the teams in full. Jose Sa in goal for Wolves. 3 central defenders. Craig Dawson, Santiago Bueno, Totti Gomez. The wing-backs are Nelson Semedo and Ryan Aït-Nouri. In midfield, there's a 3. It's Tommy Doyle now with the captain Mario Lemina and João Gomez. And then Mateus Cunha's behind Jurgen Strand Larsen, who scored Wolves' goal in the first half to put them in front. City team at the moment, but Doku's into the penalty area, tries to pull it back for the byline. Good work from Aït-Nouri, and the ball eventually trickles out of play, hits the corner flag, and goes out on the throw inside for a throw into City as they attack down the right-hand side.
Yeah, I don't think Doku got much joy out of Semedo, so he's going to try and go on against Aït-Nouri. That is why Doyle has to go and do the job that João Gomez was doing in that first half, doubling up.
This is Ruben Diaz, who is the deepest lying Manchester City player, and he's comfortably midway inside Wolves half, just to illustrate for you how advanced up the field Manchester City are playing, how deep Wolves are. Ball goes out of play. Here's the City team. Edison in goal. No Kyle Walker today, not even on the bench. We're told he's injured. Right back Rico Lewis. John Stones with Ruben Diaz in the middle. Stones in for Akanji today. Guardiola at left back. Kovacic, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva in the midfield. Savigno's left wing, Doku right wing, and Haaland in the middle. Here's a chance for Erling Haaland as the ball comes in low to him, and it's a fresh air shot. He swung his left boot at it, and normally the net furls, but he didn't get a clean connection. Erling Haaland, and Wolves breathe again.
Yeah, it was good play down the left-hand side, and he was just waiting for the contact to come from Haaland, and it was a complete miss kick, and it's really unusual because usually the outcome of that is in the back of the net, but I'm just watching the replay. Savigno does ever so well, and they miss it. Yeah, and it's an air shot. It's just a bit behind him, and he completely miskicks it.
10 goals in his 7 Premier League games this season before today for Erling Haaland. 8 goals against Wolves over the last 2 seasons. He's still waiting for a clean strike at goal in this game today. 5 Live and BBC Sounds at Molineux in the Premier League. John Stones is fouled by Strand Larsen, and there is a free kick to Manchester City, left full-back position for them, taken by Guardiola. Match of the day 2 tonight at 10:30 on BBC One to watch the highlights of this game and all the rest of the weekend's Premier League action, and that will be followed by the women's football show. Here is Haaland, strong, getting in ahead of Dawson, with a terrible pass from Erling Haaland. So he did the first part really well, but then what should have been a routine ball to Savinho was not executed at all well, and that is a throw into Wolves' right full-back position for them. Liverpool against Chelsea to come up at 4:30. Wolves have given it away needlessly. From their own throw, they put it out for a City throw. Ruben Diaz on the halfway line. Both coaches out on the edge of their technical areas. Pep Guardiola's hands in the pockets. Much busier hands from Gary O'Neill, who's waving and gesturing and pointing and trying to get messages constantly onto his players. Savinho takes on Nelson Semedo. No rest for Nelson Semedo as he shields Savinho away. City hold on to the ball. Back some more centrally now. Kovacic. Gundogan. Ruben Diaz back out to Savinho. They're trying to work a little bit of space. Here is Guardiola in the penalty area. Tries to hook in across. Tommy Doyle is back there. Heads it out under pressure for another Manchester City corner. Clinton Morrison.
The same pattern as the first half, and you always knew. But when Wolves have the ball, Connor, they got to be better. But City have started second half ever so well. Savinho and Guardiola down this left-hand side combining really well. So Wolves just have to stay in it. And when you're defending like that, you, as manager, you did chunks of 15 minutes. So it's a vital 15 minutes for Wolves.
City have had over 80% possession in the game. Corner to be taken by Gundogan. From the left-hand side of City come forward. It's high towards the back post. Haaland was the target. He's been bundled to the ground there by Santiago Bueno. Referee says play on. Haaland's not made a big deal of it. Here's Kovacic. Scoops into the box. Too high ahead of everyone. And out it goes to Wolverhampton Wanderers' relief for a goal kick to the home side. 1-1 it remains. Away from the live commentary on 5 Live, plenty of podcasts you can enjoy from BBC Sounds at the moment, including You'll Never Beat Kyle Walker. Reaction to Thomas Tuchel's appointment as England manager on that. And coming up tomorrow morning, there'll be the Premier League review, looking back over everything that's happened this weekend in the top flight, as well as the checkered flag pod reacting to the United States Grand Prix. Sun beaming down brightly now at Molineux. Completely different atmosphere than it was in the build-up to kickoff, but it was driving rain and it was stormy and it was grey. The whole pitch illuminated here by sunshine as Rico Lewis makes a nice little burst forward. Oh, he's very unlucky there. Nearly picked out Gundogan the penalty here. Kovacic takes it up now. Strong in the tackle. João Gomez, though, wasn't giving up, and he eventually does win it back, winning the ball away from Savinho. Nelson Semedo looks to break. This is where Wolves can be dangerous. Cunha inside the centre circle. Oh, it's just run away from him. He was surrounded by opponents. He managed to keep it away from 2 or 3 of them, but space was always against him there. And Wolves were not able to properly break into the Manchester City half.
No, there's not many in the Wolves team have got pace like the likes of Semedo and Cunha. So it's hard when you've won the ball to get up the pitch and then get back and do your defensive duties. But that's what you've got to do. That's why I say it's so important, Gary O'Neill, when he makes changes, you're going to have to look to his bench.
Manchester City were so quick to react there. As soon as they lost the ball, they hunted in packs to get it back again. No switching off from Guardiola's team there. Guardiola gives it to Ruben Diaz. He fancies one. Shot from distance was towards the bottom corner, and Jose Sa got across. Good save. He tried to pick his spot, Ruben Diaz. It was a long way out for that kind of effort.
Yeah, it was. You know what that reminded me a bit of? You know when Man City played Arsenal and it was always Diaz and Akanji that were getting on the ball and they were letting them have it. But you can't let them have it because it's a great strike. It's a good save again from Jose Sa.
Corner to Manchester City, being held 1-1 here at Molineux. First of 2 live Premier League commentaries today on 5 Live. Gundogan prepares to take the corner out in the sunshine, far side of the pitch from us. It's rolled short to Jeremy Doku. Bang on the corner angle of the area. Left-footed shot for the Belgian. That was never threatening. For the moment it left his boot, you knew it was going both high and wide.
Yes, even Pep's frustrated because he's coming onto his weaker left foot. Maybe just keep the ball in that situation. I'm not going to tell Doku how to play football, but you can see even his manager's frustrated, throwing his hands in the air. Yeah,
Pep Guardiola gave a big scratch of the beard there, sat down, and he looks distraught at what's just happened there. These little things matter so much to him. And Jeremy Doku will be glad that he's on the far side of the field at the moment to be out of earshot as things stand. Rugby Union today, the Gallagher Premiership, Leicester against Gloucester at Welford Road. Here's the latest from Alfie Reynolds.
Well, we've played 10 minutes. Leicester 3, Gloucester 7. First try of the game for the visiting side. Max Llewellyn, the try scorer, on the end of a nice move. It's Leicester 3, Gloucester 7.
1-1 here at Molineux. Full house at the stadium today. Big game for Wolves after the poor start they've had to the season, but they're raising their game with the arrival of the champions. Foul there on Gundogan. City tried to take the free kick quickly, but the referee is going to bring them back. He wants to make sure the German is okay.
I'm not sure if this is a foul, you know. I think Gomez reads where Gundogan's going to go. And I think because he's running at pace, yeah, it's a foul. I got it wrong. Well done, referee.
Ilkay Gundogan, who over the international break was in Germany where he was honoured. He's announced his international retirement now. There was a few of them, Toni Kroos, Manuel Neuer, Thomas Muller. They were all given a big send-off in Germany. I mean, some shift those guys have put in, some medal haul that they've had for their country.
And some players to replace, by the way.
Chalk it down. All in one go. Here's Matthias Cunha. 10 yards outside the City. Penalty area! And he hits it just wide. Oh, for a moment I thought that was going to creep in. He went for the bottom right-hand corner. Edison was at full stretch. That's Wolves' best chance in a long, long time.
Yeah, it's great play, to be fair. It's Out-Nouri and Cunha again combining. And you're thinking, Cunha, can you play it back to Out-Nouri? He gets it, he tries to bend it past Edison. And he's not a million miles away from making it 2-1 to Wolves. Good counter-attack for Wolves.
Here's Cunha, who tends to score more goals away from home than he does here at Molineux. But you feel if anyone is to re-establish Wolves' lead, that he would be deeply involved in it. City give it up at the edge of the Wolves penalty area. Strand Larsen challenged by Ruben Diaz, but he got the pass away. It's a 1-2 with Nelson Semedo. Now, can Strand Larsen keep it moving? What a lovely flick that is, but Guardiola sliding in. And Wolves really couldn't have done much better there, but Manchester City defending so solidly. And now Savinho attacks on the left-hand side, bearing down on the Wolves penalty area, plays it in towards Haaland, gets up, but so too does Totti Gomez, who beats him in the air. Good defending again.
Let me tell you something, Connor, that is outstanding defending from Totti, because it's usually when you see the ball coming back post against Haaland against any defender in the world, 9 times out of 10 he wins it. But it's great spring from Totti Gomez, because Savinho dinks it up. Brilliant defending and good goalkeeping as well from Sarr.
It was a lovely cross for Haaland to come and attack. It was sort of hovering in the air for him to run onto, and that's why Totti Gomez had to use strength to hold his ground, but he did so. And Wolves held on to possession. They have it now on the halfway line with João Gomes. Gives it to Ait-Nouri. Infield to João Gomes once again. Wall of burgundy shirted defenders right in front of him, and he kind of, almost like a little training routine, he does well to wriggle out of a tight corner there to keep possession. That's what Wolves have to do, but then the groans as a pass goes astray. And Rico Lewis now comes forward for City. Into Bernardo Silva. Back to Rico Lewis just outside the tee. Awkward pass here out towards Jeremy Doku. Doku gets into the byline. Not sure that was the best choice from Rico Lewis there. He had other options, but City do keep it moving. Lewis involved again. Back to Ilkay Gundogan. Pep Guardiola's getting ready to make a change, and Phil Foden is ready to come on. Another test coming for this Wolverhampton Wanderers defence. We've played 58 minutes. Wolves 1, Manchester City 1. Gundogan on the edge of the penalty area, back to Savinho. Here is Kovacic, low to the feet of Lewis. Back to Kovacic, it's so intricate. Dinks it forward, scoops it over the outstretching leg of a defender to pick out Savinho, whose attempted cross comes off Nelson Semedo, and that's a corner. Corner to Manchester City on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it's good play, but you know what? It's Out-Nouri, he gives the ball away, and it was a simple 5-yard pass. I think that's the frustration for the Wolves fans and the manager as well, because they're getting into good areas, but you will get tired, and there will be sloppy passes, Connor.
Wolves, who travel to Brighton next Saturday, then they've got back-to-back home games against Crystal Palace and Southampton. As the ball comes in from Savinho, and it's held on to by Jose Sarr. Let's go back to Welford Road. Leicester against Gloucester in the Rugby Premiership. Alfie Reynolds.
Leicester 3, Gloucester 14. Second try of the game for Gloucester, scored by Freddie Thomas after his second row partner Arthur Clarke made the initial break. So Gloucester continuing their impressive attacking play, which we've seen at the start of this season. It's Leicester 3, Gloucester 14.
We'll get an update for the Championship in just a moment. Manchester City are attacking again. Savinho on the left-hand side. Nelson Semedo's done well to shield him away. Sends him back towards Guardiola. This is still on the edge of the penalty area that Manchester City attack. Left-hand side. Ruben Diaz plays it out to Bernardo Silva, but too close to Nelson Semedo, and we could go to Hull City against Sunderland and Rob Laws.
17 minutes in, Hull 0, Sunderland 0. The game starting, as you might imagine, Sunderland knowing a win would take them top, dominating possession early on. Hull trying to counter when they get the chance. Sunderland looking more likely to score at the minute, but they just can't find the crucial ball. Hull 0, Sunderland 0.
Almost an hour played at Molineux, 1-1. Ball is cleared away by Santiago Bueno at the back for Wolves. Phil Foden still ready to come on, just stretching the muscles down there, waiting for his introduction. Ducker reacts well. Wolves should have cleared it there, but Ducker has kept it for Manchester City. Kovacic to the left wing again to Savinho, renewing this rivalry with Nelson Semedo. Back infield to Kovacic, has a look up. Haaland's trying to hustle a bit of space in the penalty area, but Totti Gomez is sticking to him like glue. City have it with Ruben Diaz. Everyone back behind the ball, everyone in the final third for Wolves, as they have been for the majority of this game. Savinho's ball to Kovacic is brilliant. Kovacic tries to flick his feet and they're taken out from underneath him, and it's a free kick inside the D. A free to Manchester City, had a chance to have a shot at goal.
Yeah, this is a dangerous position. It's even closer. And sometimes you don't want it as a player. You can get up and over, but you got to test it. It's good feet from Kovacic. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Lemina, he does stick a leg up, but then he tries to pull away from it. So, I think he tries to pull away from it, Connor. And I think, yeah, but he's not going to change his mind, the referee, anyway.
It will not be controversial if City score from this. Gundogan is the player placing it. There's a whole committee that's been formed to discuss what's the best option here. It's one of those where you're contractually obliged to say this is one of those that's so close. Can they get it over the wall and down? Because it's right on the edge of the penalty area, inside the D. Jose Sa just goes down his haunches.
I thought Edison was coming to take it. Look how high up he is, Connor.
That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? He's come right up to have his say. Jose Sa, who would have the sun in his eyes, but the way it's shifted now, the stand is actually shielding him, so that'll be of benefit as he peers through the line of teammates in front of him and tries to keep his eye on this Manchester City free kick. Big moment in the game, this. If you're just joining our coverage on 5 Live at BBC Sounds, Wolves took the lead, City have equalised. Wolves have been defending for their lives ever since. And the team who were bottom of the table until Southampton lost yesterday would love to take something from this high-profile fixture today, but can they survive this set-piece scare? Gundogan is standing there, Bernardo Silva, Savinho, could be any of them. And Edison is still midway inside the Wolves' half. All kinds of tussling for position here. Kovacic and Joe Gomez are pushing each other. Here we go. Bernardo Silva dummies. Still they tussle, still they shove. The yellow card's got to come here. And it's a yellow card shown to Joe Gomez for trying to hold on to Kovacic as they wriggled for space with a free kick about to come in.
Poor referee. How can you book him for trying to go and close the football? Kovacic is trying to block him. That's what I mean. Sometimes they don't understand football referees. Do my head in. That is poor refereeing. Never played the game. He hasn't got a clue. Ran over.
Take two of the free kick. It will be Gundogan, and it's deflected out for a corner. Sigh of relief for Wolves. It came off Tommy Doyle. Corner to City, and the blues at the moment being directed towards referee Chris Kavanagh.
They're right to direct him. Joe Gomez is not. He's not like he's gone early. He just Kovacic is trying to block him. What else is he meant to do? Just stand there and say, "Oh, go and have a free shot at goal." Come on, referee, liven up.
Corner's going to be taken by Gundogan. And the jeopardy and the stakes are rising here. 1-1 on 5 Live. Good delivery in from the corner. Santiago Bueno with the header down. Kovacic in the edge of the box, gives it back out to Gundogan. Low ball in, comes off a defender and falls at the feet of Jose Sa. Both teams are preparing to make substitutions here. 1-1 at Molineux. Big game coming up at 4:30. Commentary of Liverpool against Chelsea here on 5 Live. And correspondent John Murray has the team news. Hi, John.
Hi, Connor. Yeah, both make 3 changes from the Premier League teams before the internationals. For Liverpool, of course, Alisson is out injured, so Kelleher plays. Szoboszlai back into midfield. Robertson at left back, so Tsimikas and McAllister are both subs. Luis Diaz also on the bench for Liverpool. And for Chelsea, the big news, Reece James, the captain, goes straight back into the team. His first appearance under Enzo Maresca. So James is in, Lavia as well in midfield. Adarab Yo-Yo at the back with Fofana and Cucurella suspended, and Fernandes among the substitutes. So both Reece James and Gusto in the starting lineup for Chelsea.
Thanks very much, John. Kick-off at Anfield just over an hour from now. We've played 64 minutes in Molineux, and Doku's attacking the penalty area for Manchester City. Gives it to Gundogan, shot on target, no power. Comfortably saved by Jose Sa.
You see what they miss with Andre, because Doyle's a good, neat and tidy player, but he just doesn't cover the ground as much as Andre does in midfield, and that's why City are getting in at times.
Long way to go, 25 minutes plus, but can you imagine the scenes at Anfield if City were to drop points here, especially after Arsenal were beaten yesterday? What an opportunity that could be for Arne Slot's team, and it won't be easy against a Chelsea team who really seem to have got their act together in recent times.
Yeah, they have. That'll be a good game, that will.
Full commentary from Anfield coming up here on 5 Live. Rico Lewis under pressure from Strand Larsen. It's done well, Rico Lewis. Oh, did he stretch out his leg in the aftermath there? The ball was gone, and Strand Larsen was trying to run forward, and Rico Lewis appeared to just stretch out his leg to block him. Anyway, credit to Strand Larsen, who didn't make a big deal of it. Here is Savinho on the left-hand side for Manchester City. City who've not been in front at any stage in this game today. Guardiola, who's been one of the best players on the pitch. He's had most touches of any player on the pitch. He has completed the most passes, and he's created the most chances. That's how dominant Josko Guardiola's been. Here comes Doku, taking on Nouri down the other end. Good sprint between the two of them. What a good slide tackle that is. Proper old-fashioned slide tackle from Nouri. Not only does he stop Doku, he wins the ball, and then he plays it off Doku for a throw into Wolves. Brilliant from Ryan Nouri.
Yeah, brilliant defending. Doku tried to beat him, and it's fantastic defending, and that would be his last bit of action, I think.
Right, here come the changes. Phil Foden is going to come on in place of Jeremy Doku, who provided the assist for the Guardiola goal in the first half. So the PFA Player of the Year from last season comes on, and Wolves making a change to Mateus Cunha goes off, and he's replaced by Carlos Forbes, the Portuguese forward who was on Manchester City's books as a kid. Could he possibly come back to haunt them here?
I'm not sure about that substitution. I probably would have put Cunha further up the field and maybe sacrificed John Larson, because I think at this time you need pace in behind, and he can take the ball in ever so well, but he's put a great shift in Cunha.
Carlos Forbes comes on, his 4th Premier League appearance for Wolves. He's on loan from Ajax. He's only 20 years of age, but this is fresh ideas into a Wolves attack that need to provide more of an outlet here, because the defence surely must be running low on their battery power now. Here's Tommy Doyle, plays it in front of Forbes. First time he's involved, sprinting away from Guardiola, has it on the edge of the penalty area. Forbes has only just come on, shoots! Oh, agonisingly in front of Strand Larsen, who just couldn't stretch to get there. It was running across the face of goal, and Larsen needed any touch at all. He couldn't provide it. Manchester City survived that one.
It's brilliant play from young Doyle, to be fair. And the timing of the pass, great run from Forbes. And he's lively. I've seen a lot of him. And he will cause them a lot of problems. So that's why he's made the substitution, Connor.
That's where Gary O'Neill gets paid the big bucks. What an introduction that could have been for Carlos Forbes, who made a super run, picked out by Doyle. And Wolves have to hope they get a few more opportunities like that. They know they're going to be defending for most of this final quarter of the game. But these few opportunities they get in attack, if they could take one of them, then we could be witnessing a big story here today. Savinho tries to cross on the left-hand side, blocked by Nelson Semedo. Comes to Guardiola, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Ruben Diaz on his right-hand side, checks back at himself. Short ball to Guardiola, first time back out to Savinho, back to Guardiola again. City, who tried to almost make their opponents dizzy by fizzing the ball one side to the other at rapid pace in front of them. But Wolves' discipline has been good today, and apart from the Guardiola goal, which was hard to legislate against, it was a wonder strike from well outside the penalty area. Wolves have done well at keeping City at bay so far, but we all know that City will not relent. Here is Foden, who's only just come on. Gives it back to John Stones. Central again to Ruben Diaz. Strand Larsen back helping out the defence, shadowing in front of Ruben Diaz, not lunging in to make a tackle. Forbes says, I'll try that, and he nearly wins it there. That was good from Carlos Forbes. The new energy he's brought is notable.
Yeah, definitely. He's got pace, and it'll cause problems, Forbes.
Here comes Ruben Diaz, down the left-hand side for Manchester City, wearing a change kit, dark red. There's Savinho on the left wing. Savinho swept wings with Jeremy Doku. Earlier on the match, Foden playing on the right-hand side now since he's come on. Guardiola, Savinho, into Rico Lewis. Good challenge, Mario Lemina, to clear the ball away and out for a Manchester City throw. Taken quickly. Guardiola has it. Under what are now predominantly blue skies at Molineux. It's been 4 seasons in one day here today in terms of the weather. Lewis back to Ruben Diaz. Look at Gary O'Neill down there. He's cat on a hot tin roof. He's crouched and he's agitated and he's busy and bellowing the instructions. Rico Lewis takes a tumble in the penalty area. He's off the ball. John Stones has it. 20 yards outside the penalty area. Gives it short to Foden on the right wing. Bernardo Silva makes himself available. Back to Phil Foden. Pass move for Manchester City as they try to prize their way into the Wolverhampton Wanderers penalty area. Ait Nouri holds up Bernardo Silva here. John Stones gives it infield to Ruben Diaz. 15 yards outside the penalty area. Back to the right-hand side to Bernardo Silva again. Low centre of gravity. Turns. That's a good little dart. Past Joe Gomez into the penalty area. Pulls it back. Savinho should have scored. Puts it high and wide. Bernardo Silva nearly created an opportunity there, but Savinho flops his line.
Yeah, that could probably be his last kick, because I can see Jack Grealish getting ready to come on, and I think if Jack's in that position, he definitely scores. So good play though from Bernardo Silva again.
So is this winning goal going to come for Manchester City with 20 minutes to play? Wolves defending with increased desperation, but they are hanging on. Wolves won, Manchester City won. Jose Sarr takes the goal kick long into Manchester City territory. Not for the first time today that's happened, where a clearance from the keeper goes straight out of play. There's a try at Welford Road. Leicester against Gloucester. Here's Alfie Reynolds.
Leicester 8, Gloucester 14. Leicester's first try, a really strong finish by Ollie Hassel-Collins down the left. So they've reduced the deficit, but Andre Pollard missed the conversion. It's Leicester 8, Gloucester 14.
Jack Grealish is warming up to come on for Manchester City. Not on yet, though. Savinho on the left wing, running at Nelson Semedo. And as that happens, Pep Guardiola here comes over to Grealish, points at that, and you'd imagine Savinho will go off for Grealish. He's obviously saying to him, now, this is what I want you to do. See what Savinho's doing now? This is what I want you to do, Jack Grealish, as he whispers into his ear on the touchline looking on. 1-1 at Molineux. Ruben Diaz gives it back to Savinho, tries to play a ball along the edge of the penalty area, but Lamina was able to intercept it, and they've got the outlet here of Forbes, and he scampers off into City territory, pursued by John Stones and Phil Foden. Wolves defence could do with this breather here. Gary O'Neill wants a crossfield ball. He's waving his arms, trying to show Tommy Doyle the space over this side. Doyle, though, in the heat of battle over there, can't see the wood for the trees, and Wolves have to retreat back to the goalkeeper again. Clinton.
Yeah, that's better from Wolves. Have a bit of possession because you've been under so much pressure. But Forbes has come on and made a big difference because he wants to run in behind.
Right, here's Ait Nouri inside Manchester City territory.
Give him the ball.
It's Forbes available out wide left, but Ait Nouri seemed to have difficulty controlling the ball there. Needed several touches, and by the time he had control of it, the chance was gone. Nelson Semedo will try to resuscitate. Just outside the penalty area that Wolves attack. Right-hand side. Molineux is on the edge of its collective seat. Here is Lamina to Ait Nouri on the right-hand side. Low ball infield. Santiago Bueno. Back to Lamina. Back to the defenders again. A few mumbles from the Wolves fans. But safety first as they retreat back to the goalkeeper. I mean, 1-1 here would be a brilliant result for Gary O'Neill. Again, that clearance right out to the touchline, and Carlos Forbes was offside when the ball was played to it. City, who have had somewhere in the region of 4 or 5 times more shots than Wolves today, but not been incisive. So many shots that have been off target are slightly flopped. Here's the City change, and as predicted, it is Jack Grealish coming on in place of Savinho. So the 2 changes he's made, Pep, have been the wide players. He's brought on Foden and he's brought on Grealish as City desperately seek a winning goal here.
I do like Jack Grealish. He does excite me. He's a player. I don't know how people can boo him. He's one of the good guys.
Probably a Villa connection as much as anything else, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Doesn't matter how good you are. And wearing the sort of claret colour that he would have for Villa in the past, he comes forward here, plays the ball towards the back post. Bernardo Silva was arriving, collided with Foden there. I think Foden has kicked Bernardo Silva on the head. And then in what is very pantomime-like of modern football, Bernardo Silva, who has been hurt, he's been kicked in the head, but he was off the field of play. He comes back onto the field of play to ensure that his teammates don't have to play with 10. And some of the Wolves fans weren't happy with that, but I think they've realised that he has been cut there. Phil Foden tried to connect with the head of... tries to connect with the ball there, and he's kicked the head of his teammate inadvertently. And that's going to take a moment for Manchester City to patch up Bernardo Silva there. 1-1. I think this has been more intriguing than we may have dared it was going to be today, Clinton. And there still could be a twist in the tail here. 1-1 for now. While we've got a break in play, let's go back to the WSL. Liverpool against Crystal Palace. Sandy Rajavangela is watching. Sorry, Sandy.
Sorry. 74 minutes gone. Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1. Palace have been positive in the second half, but Liverpool are really pressing now. Olivia Smith crashing a shot from 30 yards out against the post. Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Now, what about the Championship? Hull City against Sunderland. Rob?
Still 0-0. Sunderland applying pressure, but committing so many bodies deep into the Hull half. They're under constant threat of the counter, and there's been a few occasions now where Hull have managed to break up the pitch. Chris Badia tangled with the Sunderland defender in the box, but referee Robert Madley waves away the appeals. Still 0-0.
They're still working on Bernardo Silva here. We're not missing any action. City are about to bring on Mateus Nunes, who's a former Wolves player. Be interested to see what sort of reaction he gets. While we wait for play to resume to Welford Road, Leicester, Gloucester and Alfie Reynolds.
Well, we've played half an hour. It's Leicester 8, Gloucester 14. Llewellyn and Thomas with the early tries for Gloucester in this first half. Ollie Hassel-Collins replying for the Tigers. It's Leicester 8, Gloucester 14.
Thanks very much, Rob. So Bernardo Silva has come sprinting back around to the touchline. He wants to get back on the field immediately. Play about to get back underway here at a Molineux stadium that is on tenterhooks with a quarter of an hour to play. Wolves have only had 1 point in the Premier League this season, draw against Nottingham Forest in August. And everyone expected them to be taken to the cleaners by Manchester City today, but Gary O'Neill, there was much comment about it in his press conference yesterday, came across almost almost too confident. He was like, no, it's fine, no, we're doing great, we're doing really well, I'm happy how we're playing. And people say, have you looked at the table, have you looked at your performances? But he believed they had this kind of, even if they do concede a late goal here today, it's been a good performance from Wolves.
Yeah, and I think he's saying most of the season it's been good performances. It's just they conceded too many goals. You go to Brentford, score 3 goals, you expect to come away with something.
Jack Grealish sucks down low, trademark, rolls it off to Ruben Diaz. No tackle on him as he makes his way towards the edge of the penalty area. It's all so cagey and so intricate as Wolves try to defend that line and City try to get into the box. Grealish back to Guardiola. You feel City to win this might need another moment of individual brilliance, someone to just stick one in the top corner, because at the moment they're struggling to play through. But we saw it in that recent Arsenal game when Stones came up with the late equalizer. They will plug away. And it could be a question of fatigue for this Wolves defence, who've had to be full of concentration, full of effort. Just looking there with Dawson wrestling with Haaland as the two of them. That's going on all the time off the ball. That's got to sap your energy over the full 90 minutes.
Definitely. You switch off and that's when Haaland will come alive. But they've defended him well so far.
City still have it. Arsenal have already dropped points this weekend. It could have been an interesting return for the international break at the top end of the Premier League. Liverpool against Chelsea to come. That's going to be a great listen with John Murray from 4:30 here on 5 Live. Guardiola's possession for City. Gives it to Jack Grealish on the left-hand side. The long sleeves for Grealish. Flicks it away from Nelson Semedo. Back to Guardiola. Needed an extra touch to control it. Wolves are getting ready to make another change here. Guedes is going to come on. Ruben Diaz. Mateus Nunes, who was ready to come on. He'd stripped off and he was ready to go, but hasn't been introduced. I think they were worried that Bernardo Silva wasn't going to be able to continue, and he has. Grealish to the byline, sends in left foot across just too high, and Ait Nouri guides it away out to a far touchline where Bernardo Silva, who could have let it out for a City throw, has kept the ball in play. Back to John Stones. Infield to Ruben Diaz, urged to shoot by some Manchester City fans, but he's a long way out. Keeps it moving. Grealish steps into the penalty area. Hovering in front of him is Nelson Semedo. Jack Grealish, arms spread out like an aeroplane, trying to keep his balance as he shuffles from one side to the other. Guardiola launches one in. Flick on header by Gundogan, headed out by Lamina. And the whistle is blown, and there's a foul in there. It's a free kick to Wolves. And they celebrate that as it looks to relieve a little bit of pressure. And Gary O'Neill can now make his substitution, and Gonçalo Guedes is going to come on to add to the very sizable Portuguese contingent that are on the pitch here for both teams today. Jürgen Strand-Larsen will make way. The man whose goal early in the match put Wolves in front. Guedes will come on to partner Carlos Forbes at the top end of the field for Wolves.
He's put a shift in, to be fair. He's worked hard. It's hard up there when you're not seeing a lot of the ball. And he tried to win his team free kicks. He's been back defending, got that first important goal. So he's had a really good afternoon.
So warm applause for the Norwegian as he departs. Nelson Semedo came across to get a tactical team talk from Gary O'Neill during that break too. Big hug for Stuart Larson from O'Neill as he makes his way to sit down inside the home dugout. They needed a performance today, Wolves, and they've dug deep to get it. Can they keep it going as we move into the final 10 minutes here?
They'll get a chance, City. It's just if it can fall to the right person and they can convert it. But Wolves have been brilliant in this second half.
Manchester City unbeaten in 30 Premier League games. They're hoping to set a new club record today for league games unbeaten. They've come from 1 goal down, but of course we know Pep Guardiola will want to win this game as a bare minimum. He'll be disappointed if this was to finish 1-1. Haaland, perhaps realising the urgency, sprints forward here to put even more pressure on Jose Sa, whose right-footed clearance goes long and searching into the City half. Guardiola holds off Semedo, and the ball bounces out for a throw into Manchester City. The clock ticks on. Diaz to Stones, sitting midway inside their own half. 6 visits to Molineux in the Premier League for Pep Guardiola in the past. In 3 of those visits, he has dropped points. Is that a trend that's going to continue here today? Edison comes away out of his penalty area. Dressed all in white. Lays it up short to Ruben Diaz. And City, you almost feel they're trying to smoke Wolves out here. They're playing it inside their own half, hoping Wolves will step up. But I don't think Gary O'Neill's team are going to fall for that. Here is Bernardo Silva on the far side of the pitch. Ait-Nouri nibbling away at him, sends Manchester City back to the halfway line. Guardiola comes now. This is tense now. These are the moments in a tight game like this. You know, the difference between holding on for a draw and losing it, enormous for Wolves. Grealish, edge of the penalty area. Hush almost descends around the stadium. Guardiola. Good work from Joe Gomez to get close to him. Doyle gets a touch. Not fully firmly away, though. Lamina will do the best he can do, and out it goes for a throw in on the far side. Clinton Morrison.
Yeah, they're trying City, but you know what? I must say, Semedo, any winger that's gone up against him, he defends ever so well. He gets so low, and Jack's got great feet there, and he's not letting him go on the outside. He's defended excellent.
Santiago Bueno has stolen it away from Phil Foden there, but then a poor pass. He was looking for Forbes, and he's given it straight to John Stones. Remember, you can listen to 5 Live on your smart speaker at home. Simply say to your device, play Radio 5 Live. You can hear all the regular programmes and the live commentaries as well at your choosing. As Wolves trying to come with a counter-attack there, but the through ball ahead of Joe Gomez is too far ahead of him. City get possession back once again. Guardiola, scorer of the equaliser in this game. Molineux's crowd has found a second wind. They're vocally in support of the team again. They would celebrate a draw here like it was a win. Kovacic, midway inside Wolves' half. Short to Guardiola, similar pattern of build-up. Where earlier it was Savinho, now it's Grealish. Those bulging calves of his. Plays it to the byline. Foden tries to pull it back. Saz spilt it. Haaland was ready to pounce, and Wolves just about scrambled that one away. That really was dangerous.
Yeah, it was. It was good play between Grealish and Foden.
Here comes City again. Kovacic, Foden, Grealish into the penalty area. Left-hand side, pulls it back. Bernardo Silva strikes it, and too many defenders in the way. It comes off Dawson, I think. They're hanging on by their fingernails here, Wolves, as Joe Gomez just hammers it down the field, trying to relieve some pressure.
You know what? I'm not sure if that maybe come off Rico Lewis. I'll have to see it again, but it was good play again from Jack Grealish, who comes in, and he doesn't have to be his man, but he always picks the right pass.
Pep Guardiola waving his arm like a windmill down there, urging his team to go forward. Then he holds his head in his hands as City give it away. Lamina to Gonzalo Guedes on the right. Now, this needs to be a good ball. Can he get it over John Stones? He does. He's picked out Carlos Forbes, edge of the penalty area, left-hand side. He's got Doyle inside it. Forbes instead chooses to give it back to Guedes, just outside the penalty area. It's almost like they're just running down the time here. They didn't want to break into the penalty area. Not then anyway. Gonzalo Guedes back to Nelson Semedo. Wolves want to keep the ball. And I wonder, is this hold on to the don't risk losing the point in pursuit of 3?
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think enough players can get up and support because they've had to defend for like 82 minutes already.
It's the heroic expectation of football, with the Wolves fans expecting their team to go and try and grab a winner. Maybe they will. Chance to shoot from Joe Gomez from a crazy angle, and he does manage to hit the side netting, but in truth, that was never troubling Edison. Just giving the Manchester City defence something to think about in a game that's been predominantly played down the other end. 6 minutes to go. It's been a great watch this at Molineux. 1-1 it is now in these closing stages.
Yeah, it has to be. But see, I don't think they've moved the ball quick enough, City, in the second half. First half, I thought they were outstanding, and Sarr had to make 2 big saves. I can only remember one big save he's made from Ruben Diaz, and that was a 20-yard shot.
Here's Rico Lewis taking a pass to Bernardo Silva, playing it to Erling Haaland into the penalty area, tackled by Dawson. It's the first time that Haaland has had the ball at his feet in the penalty area in a side of goal, but Dawson made a well-timed challenge. And with a Wolves player, I think it's Aït-Nouri down on the ground on the far side, play will be held up here for just a moment while we've got a break in play. Back to Welford Road, back to the Gallagher Premiership and Alfie Reynolds.
And it's Leicester 8, Gloucester 19, the third Gloucester try and the second for Max Llewellyn. They played some great attacking stuff in this first half, and that move started with a little chip by the scrum half Thomas Williams. Ticking towards half-time, Leicester 8, Gloucester 19.
Ticking towards full-time here, Wolves 1, Manchester City 1. And no offence to Wolves, but I think to take points off Manchester City, you need them to have a little bit of an off day, because when they're at their best, they will beat anyone. City haven't been at their best today, Clinton.
No, they haven't been at their best, but if they still come away with the 3 points, they'll be happy with that. And that's the sign of champions, when you're not at your best, but still get 3 points.
Everybody will be even happier. Now the boozer from Mateus Nunes, who made 41 appearances during his one season as a player here at Molineux. That is a frosty welcome back for the Portuguese midfielder. Comes on for his 5th substitute appearance this campaign. He's only got a few minutes to try and make an impression here. Pep Guardiola trying to mastermind a victory with time running out. Mateo Kovacic was the player who departed to allow Mateus Nunes to come on. This is John Stones giving it to Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan out to Jack Grealish on the left. Oh, they've loads to boo now. They've Grealish and they've Mateus Nunes. Here is Josko Guardiola. He'll give it on to Ruben Diaz. This is all happening 10-15 yards outside the Wolves penalty area. City gliding from left to right. There's the big boost that it's Mateus Nunes. Stones again. To his left is Ruben Diaz. They all have to shift across now as Grealish gets it on the left-hand side. Steps into the penalty area. Nelson Semedo's got to be careful here. They're dancing in front of each other, shadow boxing. Grealish gives it off to Guardiola. Semedo knows that he can't lunge in as Foden tries to shoot from a tight angle, deflected off Dawson. It could have caused a problem, and landing right down on the goal line, Jose Sa, who seemed to be deceived by that, catches the ball right on the chalk of the goal line.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to go back into the net. There's a little bit of contact from Nunes, but good play again from Jack Grealish and Phil Foden there. Good little ball and Foden, but it was good defended by Dawson as well.
There's a good story brewing here. I don't think many would have expected Arsenal and City to drop points this weekend. You look at their fixtures against Bournemouth and Wolves, but this is the strength of the Premier League, where, on their day, anyone could take points off anyone.
Exactly. Wolves are bottom at the moment, and this could be a great point. As you said, it could feel like a win because no one expects them to get anything here.
This is Gundogan coming forward for Manchester City, gives it to the number 10, Jack Grealish. 3 minutes to go of normal time. Grealish to the byline, swings in the cross. Aït-Nouri awkwardly puts it out for a corner. He had Bernardo Silva lurking in behind him, and Aït-Nouri didn't want to take any chances there. Corner to City, no time to waste. Bernardo Silva wants to get on with it really quickly. In fact, the reason he was running is he's running away. He wants to leave it for Phil Foden here. Bernardo Silva makes his way into the middle. Foden will take the corner in front of hordes of travelling Manchester City fans who are holding their hands up to their foreheads to shield their eyes from the sun. The corner comes in. A touch for John Stones. Hits the back of Gundogan. Grealish shoots, and Jose Sa makes the save. It was on target from Grealish, but Sa got down to his right.
Yeah, he doesn't get full contact, to be fair. They do with the first one, but when it comes to Jack Grealish, it's on the hop volley, kind of bubbling towards him, and he kind of scuffs it, and it's a comfortable save from Sa.
Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Manchester City 1. Liverpool against Chelsea to come at 4:30, but City being frustrated here as Wolves cling on. I mean, it might have been even better for Gary O'Neill's team. They did lead in this match. Santiago Bueno, for the first time, looking a bit fatigued there as he wins the sprint against Grealish, which he had about a 30-yard head start in, but it was down to 1 yard by the end of it. He was running in long grass there, Santiago Bueno. And they'll begin to start urging that full-time whistle to blow soon. There's about 90 seconds left to the regulation 90 minutes. Jack Grealish from Manchester City, 1-1 at Molineux. City renowned for late winners. Here's Bernardo Silva, side netting from a tight angle. Lamina lunging in front of him. Wolves breathe again, and Gary O'Neill is going to bring fresh legs in. Sean Richner Bellegarde, the Frenchman, is going to come on. in place of Joe Gomez, who I think has put in a great shift today.
He's a player, by the way, Gomez. All right, Connor, he is a player. He can go and play higher. Gomez, I like him. Very good footballer.
Gomez, you'll not be surprised to hear, he's going to milk his moment here. He's not going to charge off the field. He's slowly walking, taking the applaud of the crowd. Bellegarde will come on. Bellegarde, who's played some part in every Premier League game for Wolves so far this season. Can Wolves see this out? It feels increasingly unlikely that Wolves would go grab a winner. Can they keep Manchester City at bay? And Erling Haaland, who scored 4 goals against Wolves last time they met, hasn't had a sniff today. Jose Sa prepares to take the goal kick. They are squeezing every minute they can waste out of this Wolves. Jose Sa, long clearance up over the halfway line. Stones wins the header. Totti Gomez, who was booked early in the game but has done well to hold his discipline ever since. Fourth official holds up the board. 5 minutes to go for Manchester City to try and grab a winner here. 5 minutes for Wolves to try and hold on. Throw in for Totti Gomez, left-hand side for Wolves. Tries to send it as long as he can into Wolves into City territory. Did pick out Forbes there, but Forbes can't pick out a teammate. Lamina forceful in the midfield, commits a foul on Grealish. City get the free kick. Very close to the halfway line. Manchester City, who have got Sparta Prague on Wednesday in the Champions League. They've got Southampton at home in the Premier League next Saturday. And then after that, City have got a run of 4 away games in a row across all competitions. Guardiola scored a brilliant goal today. Should he need another one? Infield to Ruben Diaz. Ilkay Gundogan drops a shoulder, charges towards the edge of the box, turns, spins around it himself, back to Ruben Diaz, over to Bernardo Silva. City, who will trust the process, they'll believe they'll get one big chance here. It's tense, very tense. As a stray blue plastic flag floats across the air in front of us, and Ruben Diaz picks a pass out towards Rico Lewis on the right-hand side. Now Mateus Nunes, boos for him against his old team. Haaland's in a tussle in the penalty area with Santiago Bueno. Bueno hit the deck there. Referee didn't spot any of that, and play continues. Guardiola. Ruben Diaz. Wolves trying to keep the concentration amid this flurry of Manchester City passing. Grealish gets it on the left-hand side. Nelson Semedo, who's judged most things very well today, doesn't lunge in again. Holds up Grealish. The pass to the D. Ruben Diaz turns back at himself, no room to shoot, gives it back to Grealish again. Now Ruben Diaz, chance to cut it back. Lamina, not for the first time today, tracks the runner, slides in to put it out for a corner, and we've already played 2 of the 5 minutes being added on here. 1-1 at Molineux.
Yeah, good defending from Lamina. They're patient, Man City, they are patient, and it must be hard for Wolves, but Wolves are switched on ever so well.
Corner taken short, Bernardo Silva back to Jack Grealish towards the far post. And easily saved in the end by Jose Sa. He falls onto the ball, he cradles it to his chest. Wolves on the verge of a very important point here, only their second in the Premier League this season. Jose Sa takes his time. Pep Guardiola gives dirty looks towards the 4th official, saying how long is he going to hold it for? It's hammered long into the City half. Gundogan wins the header. 1-1. In this game that City will expect it to win comfortably. And here comes Gonzalo Guedes for Wolves, attacking the penalty area. Mateus Nunes does very well to win the ball on the edge of the D. They're all appealing for a free kick, but I think it was a fair tackle. He got the ball. Foden sends one over the top. Haaland controls in the box. Can he be the superstar for City today? Pulls it back to Mateus Nunes, who made the tackle down the other end. He shoots, but it's over the top. Just lost his footing as he connected with the shot, Mateus Nunes. It was deflected off a defender. It's going to be a corner. Nearly chances at both ends there.
He nearly had his say. He made a great tackle here. And he got up quickly and he was like, I'm going to silence these Wolves fans. But great recovery and great defending.
City corner. 3.5 minutes played of the 5 being added on. Foden shoots from the edge of the area. Deflects out for a corner again.
Wow. You just feel like they just need the whistle now because it is coming slowly but surely. You can see it, but they're defending well. They're throwing their bodies on the line.
Grealish carefully places the ball for the corner kick. Similar scenes this to the game against Arsenal. City did get a late goal. This time played in, and Bellegarde puts it out for another corner. I've lost count of how many corners City have had today. 94 minutes on the clock, so City have 60 seconds to go. Grealish plays it in, high, swirling towards the back post. It nearly curled for Haaland, but put out for yet another corner. And Bernardo Silva and Foden both sprint out to take it.
I think this is the last one. It's got to be, isn't it? Time's up, isn't it? No, there's still about 40 seconds to go.
Over till it's over. Manchester City have this corner. Foden plays it in swinger. John Stones! John Stones does it again! The late, last gasp winning goal for Manchester City in the 5th of 5 minutes of stoppage time. The reigning champions have pulled it out of the fire again. Wolves held on for 95 minutes. John Stones makes it Wolves 1, Manchester City 2.
Oh, the VAR going to be checking for something.
Hang on.
He's offside.
Hang on.
Offside.
The flag goes up.
I don't know what they're checking it for, because it was from a corner, so it can't be offside. Because it went straight in. I don't know if it deflects off someone. We need to see a replay here, but
VAR checking disallowed goal for offside.
Offside. So is there a contact? It might have come off a City player before it's hit John
Let's just be
Stones.
clear. This is not confirmed as disallowed. The reason everyone got so excited is because very belatedly the official did raise his flag. But the video assistant referee is looking at the replays. Clinton, you've got the monitor. What are they looking at?
I don't know what they're looking at, because there's no touch. When I'm watching it here, John Stones wins the header. They're talking about Bernardo Silva, but he's crouching down, like literally low. He's in the eye line of Sarr, but he's not in the eye line because he's so low down. He's not really So he's going to go and have a look.
Right. Well, I think this is good use of the pitch side monitor, because...
But he's not in... I don't think he's in line of him, Connor. Go on.
But so he comes across something as up because it is so subjective. He is in front of the goalkeeper in an offside position, but is he interfering with play? And Chris Kavanagh comes across to look at the monitor, and it will be the referee's call. So the referee gets another look at this. It's not technology deciding. Remember, the on-field decision was the flag went up.
He's not offside. Bernardo ducks when Stones has the header. He's not offside. That goal has to stand, and I'm all for in front of the goalkeeper, but I think that goal has to stand.
He's not looked at it for very long, Chris Kavanagh. He's come back onto the pitch, and the goal stands. Manchester City win the game. Dramatic finish that will leave a sour taste in the mouths of the Wolves players, but the goal does stand. Bernardo Silva was in front of the keeper. Clinton called it while he's crouching down. It didn't really impede the keeper in any way, but I'll tell you what, we haven't heard the end of this.
No, we haven't, but I understand, because Gary O'Neill's going to say it's happened to his, but Bernardo Silva's crouching down. He's not stopping Jose Sarr, for me, so they get it right. I know what he's going to say, though. Things have gone against him, loads in the VAR, but that is the correct decision in my mind.
Neil Cutler, I believe, the goalkeeping coach, has received a yellow card for complaints down there. I think it's him anyway. There'll be a lot of complaints for Wolves. This team, who rose off the bottom of the table yesterday after Southampton's defeat to Leicester, were on the verge of a very important point, and Manchester City have grabbed a winner. The clock is now up to 98 minutes. The ball is down the other end of the two balls of the pitch now. Gary Neal's kicked another one on. Wolves want to try and score in these closing seconds, but surely that goose is cooked. And Manchester City have done what champions do. You mentioned it earlier, Clinton. They've not played particularly well today, but they've found a way.
And that guy, John Stones, again, they needed him against Arsenal. He hasn't got as much game time, and he said he's been disappointed. But one thing with John Stones and good footballers and top teams, they always fight to the end, and that's what Man City have done.
There can only be seconds remaining. We'd almost played the full five when the ball went in. Totti Gomez takes the throw in for Wolves. City fans are the ones singing now. The throw by Gomez towards the City penalty area. Gets involved again, Totti Gomez, beating his old teammate Mateus Nunes. Gundogan is back there, and Totti Gomez for a third time involved, as there goes the final whistle. There's the boos from the Molineux crowd amid the celebrations for Manchester City. They've left it late, Pep Guardiola's team, but they have pulled a goal out of the flames once again. That will be crushing to Arsenal, who lost yesterday. Mikel Arteta watching this from afar. would have been believing that maybe, just maybe, City were going to drop points here, but they don't. A win for Guardiola and a win for Manchester City to go top now ahead of Liverpool's kick-off shortly.
That's the sign of champions, not playing at their best, but they managed to keep going and managed to get them crucial goals. And it's not luck, because you've seen Man City do it many a times. You do feel sorry for Wolves because a lot of things have gone wrong, not gone right for them with VAR recently. But I think VAR made the right decision there, and the referee made the right decision. I don't think it was an offside. But Wolves, if they play like that, they'll be fine this season.
Well, Wolves have now conceded 6 goals in the last 15 minutes of Premier League games this season. It's come back to haunt them again on a day when ultimately the cornerstone of the victory was a goal from a corner scored by John Stones in a game that Wolves led in the first half, in which Manchester City were not firing on all cylinders. This will hurt in the Wolves dressing room. Tomorrow maybe they'll feel better. They'll look back, they'll see the good performance they put in for 95 minutes. But right here, right now, this hurts for Gary O'Neill as Manchester City take the 3 points back to the northwest. Wolves 1, Manchester City 2. That is late drama.
Well, Gary O'Neill came sprinting onto the pitch at the end, and you could tell he was trying to keep very, very calm, but his eyes were wide. And look, Clinton, it's worth remembering that that goal was disallowed in the end on the field. So it was a VAR decision that they overturned, and this against the man and the club, who were the only ones in the summer to want to get rid of it.
Yeah, so he'll be disappointed. And listen, I've seen goals here before where they've scored and a player has been in front of the goalkeeper and it's been disallowed. So I can understand his frustration, Gary O'Neill. But I think the difference is Bernardo Silva's crouching. He's not really impeded the eye line of Jose Sarr. Listen, I could be wrong, but from where I saw here, I think the VAR made the right decision, and I think they get it spot on. It just feels like it's always happening to Wolves at the moment, and they can't get no luck. And because it's so late on in the game, they'll feel disappointed. But I think VAR got that spot on crossing.
Referee getting a good reception there, Connor?
Well, I think that's the least surprising thing of the afternoon. Look, it's a tricky one.
Is it, though? I don't know. I mean, he's nowhere near his eye line, is he?
Yeah, but this sort of eye line thing, you know, I mean, he's right in front of him. I can see the complaint. I can see the reason for the disgruntlement. But Chris Kavanagh didn't look at it long. So he was satisfied. And I think he's leaning sort of where you are. You know, we pick moments of contact. You see, absolutely, at the moment that John, we're always used to the moment of touch, but it's offside. The moment it's touched by the player. At that moment, he's crouching down. But, you know, as the ball comes forward, does he set up again? Just before, was he blocking his view? He's certainly there. I can see why it is valid to have complaints about it. But as I said at the time, I think this is a good use of VAR, that this is one where you want the referee on the pitch to look at it himself. And I think they've used the technology well there. And remember, the on-field decision at the time was that the flag was raised.
You know what it is, Crossy? If the header, John Stones' header goes low, below Jose Sarr, they'll rule it offside because Bernardo Silva's crouching. But he's in his eye line, you can see it clearly. So for me, VAR got it 100% spot on. We're so critical of VAR sometimes, but I think VAR, it worked this afternoon.
Can you see kind of Pep Guardiola's doing his sort of give a slight kind of dressing down to one of his players on the pitch thing right now with Bernardo Silva?
Yeah, they all get their turn.
Yeah, they
Bernardo
do.
Silva gets it today. I mean, this is alpha male stuff. It doesn't matter. You know, you won't do that to the Rico Lewises of the team every week. He picks different players. It's a very public display there. That yes, Manchester City have won this game, but not in the manner that Guardiola expects. And by his standards, this was a poor performance today. Manchester City win, but this is why he's such a serial winner. He demands better than what he saw there.
Crossy, he can do what he wants, and I like it when he does it because that is Guardiola, and that's what he does. He plays up to it. He's not having a go at Bernardo Silva. He's just explaining situations that happened on the pitch. But what he's doing he knows everyone's watching him, and he loves it, and that's why he does it on the pitch instead of in the changing room. So that's why he's the best in the world. So he can do what he wants as long as his team keep performing like that.
It's just funny, Clinton, because he always seems to do the same thing. So he's talking to Bernardo Silva, and the first thing that happens is they both sort of do the crouching down gesture. So it's kind of like, as if they tried to disallow that, and they're both laughing. But then 2 seconds later, Guardiola's saying something, and Bernardo Silva's face falls. You're like, right?
And it works. It works for him, so definitely. But yeah, big result for Man City after Arsenal's defeat yesterday.
John Stones' late goals from corners, Clinton, as well. It was Arsenal, and now it's Wolves.
Yeah, listen, good players can play anyway. John Stones, I'm so surprised he's not a regular, but to be fair, Kanji and Diaz have been outstanding, but he keeps knocking on the door, keeps putting in performances like that and scoring big goals. It'll be hard for Pep to leave him out, but that's why the Man City fans love him, John Stones. He's a fantastic footballer. He can play him anywhere. And it was a great ball in from Phil Foden, but the header from Stones was fantastic.
Thank you very much, both. Conor McNamara, Clinton Morrison. What a game. Brilliant. Manchester City and Wolves. Wolves, wow. I mean, they put everything into that, and they've just been denied at the very, very end. So, Wolves fans, 08085 909 693 later on this evening. If you feel like you need to get some of the frustration out, then Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton will be there once we're done with Liverpool versus Chelsea. Wolves bottom of the Premier League table, Manchester City top for the next 2 hours at least. Liverpool Crystal Palace in the WSL. Sani Rudravajula.
Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1. The league's newcomers hold their own and took the lead through ex-Red Katie Stengel, finishing at the second attempt inside the box. But Palace faffing at the back allowed Cornelia Capoch to level 8 from the break. Liverpool pushed in the second. Olivia Smith's crashing drive onto the post from distance, the closest they got. Disappointing for Liverpool, a positive point for Palace. Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Earlier it finished Manchester City 2, Aston Villa 1 at half-time. It's Leicester 1, Everton 0, and approaching half-time, West Ham 0, Arsenal 0 into the Championship. Hull City Sunderland, Rob Law.
50 seconds into the second half, Hull 0, Sunderland 0, a very cat and mouse kind of game. This Sunderland have had so much of the ball, but they just haven't managed to hurt Hull at all. They're defending really well, and then when they get the opportunity, they use their pace, accelerate up the pitch with real purpose, but they're just lacking that final pass, shot, or, well, anything really. More of a tactical battle, this one, Steve. Two teams cancelling each other out at present. Hull 0, Sunderland 0.
Earlier it finished Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0 in the Scottish Premiership. Rangers 6 points off the top, 6 points behind both Celtic and Aberdeen, of course. Second half underway at Welford Road. Leicester Gloucester in the Gallagher Premiership. Try Alfie Reynolds.
And it's Leicester 15, Gloucester 19. Great start to the second half for Leicester Tigers. Andre Pollard scoring close to the post, adding the conversion. So we're back to a one-score game. It's Leicester 15, Gloucester 19.
What about the Women's T20 World Cup final? South Africa and New Zealand in Dubai. Henry Moran.
New Zealand 97 for 3, asked to bat first by South Africa. We're going to have a new winner of this competition after some stunning and shocking results during the week. No Australia, no India, no England, and New Zealand and South Africa doing battle under the floodlights. New Zealand in a decent position after 14 overs, but they'll be looking to put the foot down as we head towards the back end of the innings. 97 for 3 after 14.
That one is on 5 Sports Extra right now, and then after that, full commentary of the United States Grand Prix from Texas from 7:30 this evening. We will see if we can bring you some live reaction from Molineux. Manchester City, thanks again to a late John Stones goal, winning by 2-1. And then we'll have full commentary as Liverpool look to go back to the top of the Premier League table. They're at home to Chelsea. So all eyes on that after the news.